Please, please, please. Standing ovation वहाँ से आएगा. हम बैठ जाते हैं आराम से. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being such a fabulous audience since morning and being with us here for first ever ABP Network's Ideas of India Summit. It's just been an enthralling day with so many conversations that we've heard since morning. और जिस तरह का रिसेप्शन मेरे स्पोर्ट्स पैनल को मिला है, I am absolutely thrilled and overjoyed that I am in the company of such iconic sportsperson from our country who have not only achieved unprecedented success during their career, but they all at several stages of their career made us believe that yes, we too can. And we showed to the world that India has it in it to prove, give to the world sporting champions. Kapil Paji, one and only, he showed us with his grit and determination, India's first ever World Cup winning captain back in 1983, when no one took us seriously. किसी को पता ही नहीं था कि इंडिया की क्रिकेट टीम भी कुछ ऐसा कर सकती है. It was just unbelievable. And where is that legacy coming from? That grit, that determination is coming from our national sport, hockey. Zafar Iqbal Saab is right here amidst us. He's not only seen but been an integral part of India's golden era in hockey when we were winning one medal after the other and just telling the world that, yeah, we are here to stay, man. This is our national sport. Sir, thank you so much for showing us the way as early as that. Anju, Bobby, George, what should I say? You know, that was a time when we were in school, college, World Championship, 2003 bronze medal. Anju's long jump was a leap of faith for anyone who believed that we will produce champions, medal winners in athletics as well. I was a long jumper myself in school. I was nowhere near you. And of course, Atlanta Olympics, 1996, Leander. I mean, who would have thought we will have a medalist in Olympics from the sport of tennis? I mean, unbelievable. और उसके बाद tennis academies खुल गई देश के हर कोने में and everybody wanted to be Leander Paes. I'm sure even now there are so many young boys and girls who want to be like you. Thank you so much once again. So, since morning I'm sitting here, you guys have all just joined us. We're talking about ideas of India. And it breaks my heart to admit that when we talk about ideas of India, we have touched on the topic of culture, politics, history, industrialists, even the soft power of the world of entertainment. But sports is not getting its due. And I want to break that chain here. And I want to begin with you, Paji. In these 75 years, what, according to you, has been sports' contribution to the idea of India? And what are we going to give in terms of ideas of India in this coming decade or so?
Good evening to everybody. I think the most important thing I would say, what I've seen in the last 40 years, today the parents bring the kids to the ground and say, make them a player. In our time, definitely in our time, no parents got a time that they will bring their kid to the ground. Today, they come to us. Can they play IPL? Can they play for India? And I said, where were my parents during that period? If we have to go to play, we used to get thrashing. We used to play chori chori. Or aajkal maa baap laate. I think that is a change. If whatever we are saying, federation or board or whatever, I wouldn't say as much as important to them as much as the parents start feeling their kid should be a sports person. That's the change have taken place in last 40 years.
Incredible. I think a big round of applause to that. एक वो जो कहावत थी, खेलोगे कूदोगे तो बनोगे गवार और पढ़ोगे लिखोगे तो बनोगे होशियार, वो ब्रेक करने में आप लोगों के अचीवमेंट्स का बहुत बड़ा हाथ है. ज़फ़र इकबाल साहब, if we talk about the ideas of India that we can derive from the world of sports, you've seen it all. You've seen the height and then the lows that Indian hockey has gone through, and now the resurgence mode as well, What, according to you, आप कैसे इसको तोलेंगे? किस हिसाब से देखा जाए स्पोर्ट्स का contribution इन 75 सालों में क्या रहा है?
I would say that, yes, we have done tremendously good in hockey, particularly if you consider 75 in the beginning of 1948 London Olympic Games, So naturally, hockey was on the top in the world also. But at the same time, I would also like to tell you that Though we won the 1948 Olympics, 1952 Helsinki Olympics, 1956 Melbourne Olympic Games, 60 we lost in the finals, but we got a silver, and 64 Tokyo Olympic Games. And the 80 Olympic Games we won, and 2021 or 2022, you can say Tokyo, we won the bronze medal. So as far as hockey is concerned, but there's no doubt about it, okay, in the last 30 years, we could not do much, but this team, this is what I have feeling, this is the best team in the last 30, 40 years. And this team has shown to the world that yes, India is coming back, in particular in hockey, though there is a general increase in the participation in the sports by the people. People have realized that yes, sports is something we should take up seriously, is not a useless thing. And the fact is that, and we have shown to the world, not in hockey, but other games have also shown, tremendous performance in the Olympic Games or the World Cup or Asian Games. Like, after the hockey, the Leander Paes won the first medal in the Olympic Games in 1996 Atlanta. So naturally, he has started the flag or torch for other games. And 2000 Sydney Olympics, I would say, yes, Karnam Maleshwari won the bronze medal. So lady has also taken the lead. There's no doubt about it. The fact is that the literacy, in sports, literacy in our country is very limited. We have worked out, we have researched it, and it comes to 5% in the male or in the gents or men. And literacy in the sports in women is only 22.5%. But this is increasing day by day. One, the authorities in our country is interested, then everything moves very well. There's no doubt about it. And I'm sure India is going to be very strong in the sporting arena in future. There's no doubt about it.
Fantastic.
We are strong enough in every field. We have shown to the world that yes, in athletics also, we won the gold medal after, not a single medal we had won in the Olympic Games, and this time the gold has come for us. So naturally, it's a beginning for us. I'm sure that Indian people have realized that yes, we can do it and we will do it. I'm sure that this is going to be a tremendous effect in our sporting arena in future.
Zafar sir, I've spoken to so many hockey journalists, hockey players. Everybody says that, yes, we left our golden era behind, but we are once again entering into it, courtesy the kind of efforts that have been put into hockey in the last decade or so. There's a high-performance program, which the men's hockey team entered in, and the kind of results that we were expecting in Tokyo Olympics, we've delivered. We are pretty much on target, and the next one actually is the women's hockey team that finished 4th in Tokyo Olympics. They are ahead of the targets which were given to them.
Yeah, that's true. The fact is that we have realized that yes, mentally we are, we have become very strong in the sense that yes, we can beat them also. Earlier, the ladies team were used to play very shaky games, but this time in the Olympic Games, I haven't seen them playing such a beautiful game throughout the tournament. They played much better than the men's hockey team, but though they could not get a medal. But I would say, yes, the women's has shown a lot of potential because game is always played from the top chamber. The 70% game comes from here. Physical fitness is, every team comes with the same level of fitness. But
Zafar,
where the mental level is there, you can, So, and this team, not only in the Olympic Games, now the FIH Pro League, professional league is going on, and our ladies team have also defeated the Germany.
Yeah.
So you can imagine how we are confident that we can defeat a German team which never thought of it.
Much feared German team. हमारे हरियाणा में कहावत है हमारी छोरियां क्या छोरों से कम है. तो आप छोरियों तो कम मत आकिए. Here's to the women's hockey team. They are doing a tremendous job. And that brings me to the lady on the panel. Anju, we've talked about the team sport, and it's an effort by all of them together, collectively on the field. In individual sports, especially in track and field, how do you manage the burden of expectations of more than 1 billion population and then deliver at that level? You've done that, you've been there. You are training youngsters to actually, once again, deliver at that level. What does it take?
Hi, everyone. Athletics is one of the toughest events in the world. And training is, we can't explain how much difficult it is because it's an individual game. And all the world is fighting for 3 medals. And getting into that podium, it's something great. And when I was doing for the world, when I was in Paris, no one expected a medal from me than me and Bobby. We were pretty sure about the medal, but in the top level, luck also a factor because we are competing with the best of the best in the world. And it was, I can still say that it's because of Bobby, otherwise it was not easy for me. World Championship medal and Olympic 2004 again, all expected, but I was not well and I was not able to produce. And still, that Russian cheaters are still wearing that medal, and we are still crying for that medal, waiting for that medal. And now I am back, and my academy, Anju Bobby Sports Foundation, is nurturing 16 kids, and young Shaili Singh is also training there, and she is already world number 2 in junior level. So into 2024 or 2028, I'm expecting a podium finish from one of my world. So I'm still chasing my dream. We are always talking about empowering women. I think we are already in that level. Our women athletes are already producing medals, many medals. And in athletics or any sport, getting a medal in Olympics is something great. So we are great fighters. Our women athletes are great fighters. And 2024, again, we can expect more medals from our women athletes.
Definitely, definitely. And I think you put it so beautifully. The entire world is fighting for 3 medals. Gold, silver, bronze. That's the end of the world. And these athletes, they prepare day in, day out. Who knows it better than Leander? And he's got that medal for us. Leander, what is it about sport that can contribute to the idea of India? What is it about sport that will, help us bring that in mainstream? I mean, it's coming into the discussion, of course. We have many such discussions. But now, what's the way forward? You've all proved it to us that we can do it. What's next?
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I think that sport is a great contributor to make India a healthier community. I feel that, as Anju said, there are only 3 medals in an Olympics. In a World Cup, as Kapil has already won, there are only 11 players on the field. But when you talk of a country of 1.3 billion people, every single one of us has to do PT in school. And through that PT in school, over the last 20 years, you've seen the knowledge of sports fitness, the knowledge of sports mental fitness, the knowledge of diet, the knowledge of how we carry ourselves. India has become a healthier community over the last 20 years. In the late 1990s, we were number 1 in the world in diabetes. We were number 1 in the world in obesity. Both those two have changed because of the efforts and the inspiration that the 2 men on our stage here, Kapil Paji winning the World Cup, Zafar Uncle winning the gold medal in the Olympics, their generation have inspired all of us to take up sport as a serious career option.
But Leander, you had inspiration at home only. Leander's father was in the hockey team in 1972 Munich Olympics, and that team won the bronze medal. You had inspiration at home only. Many would argue that sports to aapke genes mein hai. You come from that legacy. But there are 2 sides to it. The burden of legacy and the advantage of legacy. How would you elaborate on that?
As we were discussing inside, Kapil Paji put it well, that there are few of us kids who have taken to sport after our parents have been champions. The pressure that I felt at home as a young boy to be successful in a sport, I'm not sure how it would have been if I took up hockey or basketball. I feel that the other thing that sports contributes to India is the true essence of democracy. Anju and myself play individual sports, but the other athletes who are on that track with us or on that tennis court with us could come from different walks of life, could come from different communities, could come from different religions, different cultures. If I ask Kapil Paji the different teammates he had in his career,
We'll get to that.
To me, Kapil Paji is one of the greatest leaders and captains we've had in India because he took a community of young cricketers and made them champions by his example. For me, I think sport can unite a full nation. It does not matter whether you are Hindu, whether you are Christian, whether you are Muslim, whether you are Sikh. It does not matter whether you come from a different caste. It does not matter whether you eat non-veg or veg. At the end of the day, sport is the greatest uniter to live a true democracy.
Very well said, Leander. I completely agree with you, and that's possible in a team sport. But there is this allegation, if I may say, against tennis particularly, sports like tennis and golf. They are elite sport. They are not masses sport. How many of the kids that you see in academies, they come from a low middle class background or from poor families? Is that seen? Is that common? It's not, right?
Well, allegation is a strong word.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
In that,
Maybe.
I feel like even me, when I grew up as a young boy, it wasn't that I was born to a father or a mother who had millions of dollars. I was born in the 70s, and in the 80s when I had to hone the skills and the hard work and the training, India did not even have foreign exchange. We did not have credit cards. We did not have foreign bank accounts. So hence, whatever sponsorship or whatever monies that my father could get together, thanks to the sports minister at that time, we were able to convert it into dollars. Or the talent that I had, academies like the International Management Group, they gave me a scholarship to go there and play for free. This is one of the things that I feel like an Anju Bobby George adds so much to female athletes and young aspiring girls in our country. Is that sport is also a vehicle to educate yourself. Sport is a vehicle to get yourself a job. And I'm very proud to say that I play the only sport on this planet where tennis is the only sport that has equal prize money, equal opportunity, and equal rights for male and for females.
Very true.
I'm just corrected on that. Anju says athletics also has the same.
No, but very true. I think you put it very well. But coming back to the question that you put to Paji, in a team, we see there is no bar. If you have talent, Paji, you can break into the team. You can represent your country at the highest level. And we see that all the time when we see our team. In a team sport, is it easy for youngsters to aspire to represent the country? Would you say that?
I think first of all, you have to have a passion. Doesn't matter you play individual game or you play team game. When you're growing up, whatever the facilities you get into that. Nobody thought we will make a life out of that, career out of that. You start as a kid to just go and express yourself, enjoy yourself, even flying kite or playing marbles. Then slowly you come to know your interest. Yes, I like tennis, I like cricket, I like basketball. All those things come later, but behind everything, only one thing comes. Do you have passion for that game is very, very important. Circumstances, one which make you play an individual game or team game. But in my school, if I have all the team games, so I will start playing team games. What we require in our country is the infrastructure should be there. If you have that, then the kid have all the rights to pick his liking game and say, this is what I want to play. But you can't tell a 10 years kid, you only play this, you only play that. And that is the only thing different. Luck would have it, you are with those type of people who playing hockey, they will pick up hockey. I was lucky, I was born in Chandigarh. Everybody was playing cricket during cricket season. Everybody was playing hockey during hockey season. We as a country have to give the infrastructure. There is a place, whatever the kids like to pick up, and then you start putting weight, time, effort, everything.
I think that's very similar to what we've seen in Manipur model, right? In our country only we have Manipur model where there are sports clubs and kids are taken to these sports clubs. They are exposed to multiple sports and then it depends on whatever they like to pick. The kid picks that up and then, of course, they end up excelling in a lot of areas. Zafar Saab...
I just want to ask that to Zafar Bhai.
Sure.
Zafar Bhai, I like to tell everybody also, Holland is, how big is the Holland? Not as big as Punjab or one state in our country. They have 250 AstroTurf where people play hockey. How many AstroTurf in India has? How can you win a gold medal when 15 states only or 50 cities, kids can come out and play? The number of people in Holland play hockey and number of people play in India is huge different. Even you say, we have 130 crore country hai, yahan par nahi produce karte, but how many people get chance to play at AstroTurf? Agar kuch aise, some of the stadium you have, they will not allow the community people come and play there. So I think that's where the biggest problem in our country. We still produce people like him, those type of people who are sitting with me, only because they are individual passionate about that. What we require, why cricket is gone there, the infrastructure is improved in cricket as compared to other sports. I can 200% sure if we have round about 500 AstroTurf, we will win more Olympics medal in hockey than any other country.
Well said. Paji, as always, very passionate about sports and making very, very important and valid points. Zafar Saab, I want you to weigh in on this. जब हम green room में बात कर रहे थे, तो आपने ये जिक्र किया था इस बात का, आप सब जब आपस में बात कर रहे थे कि जब ग्रास से AstroTurf पे शिफ्ट हुई हॉकी, तभी इंडिया ने कुछ 20-30 साल खो दिए अपने प्राइम के. Infrastructure होता, we could have changed that?
Yeah, definitely, because we had no AstroTurf. Even when our team took part in 1976 Montreal Olympics, they never ever seen how the turf would be. So this was the story at that time, and directly we had gone. But on other side, I would also like to mention here that when we had gone to play Olympic Games, we never played ever. Directly we had gone, and we assumed while getting training at the NIS Patiala, this turf is like a very fast, field. So what we should do, they visualized themselves and they said, okay, remove the grass, and put the cow dung on it. And once it will get dry, then the ball will run very fast. So they did it. And next time, after a week time, we started playing, very fast game. This would be like that, this and that. And once we had gone there, it was a different story. We never thought it is going to be like this, So, but even then, I would say we had a very talented players and we adopted the game in such a short period to our own way. And we had defeated most of the team, there's no doubt about it. First time we started playing without playing earlier at the international level, and we had also defeated them. Yes. So it shows yes, hockey is in our blood, and we had a confidence also yes, even on this ground we can defeat them. But the fact is that that was only available to a certain players of higher level who had gone there. But the rest of the players, as Kapil Bhai Sahab has said, yes, Holland, even in those days, had a 400 plus AstroTurf. Every club used to have a AstroTurf. And they had much more player than us. You know, nobody believes in me. What I say, they say, oh, no, we always play hockey in our own country. I said, you can't believe I have seen myself. So I am just explaining to you, even in the Argentina, Buenos Aires, when we had gone to play the World Cup, there were 105 clubs over there. You can't imagine that there are so much hockey is being played there. Wow. And nobody believed, because we used to defeat them easily. So the fact is that, yes, we have lost about 30 years to adjust ourselves, to adjust for the new generation, to adjust, okay, this is how one should play. And you can see now, this team, the present team, for the last 2-3 years, even the women's team, they are the fittest team in the world. There's no doubt about it. We never, ever bow down to any European team in this Olympic Games. Even the women's, they have shown the guts and the ability of fitness. They kept throughout the tournament, I would say. They never shown any lethargic. So this is what we need. There's nothing wrong. Everybody says, oh, we lost at the dying minute because we had no stamina. But when we started playing hockey in 1928, so even at that time we were a very fit team. But you won't believe one story I would like to share with you. In 1928 Amsterdam Olympic Games, when we defeated Holland 3-0, they never accepted the defeat. And they said, no, we have lost by, by doing something, by fluke or something like. We want to play India again. Though Indian team stayed back there. Okay. And after 2 days, we had played there and we had defeated again to them.
Wow.
And then they have realized, yes, India is the strongest team amongst the rank in the top world teams. So this is what they feel, yes, we want to defeat India because India became champions 8 times. I think in next 100 years or 50 years, no country can break this record. 8 times gold medal is not so easy.
Thank you so much for that legacy. Lovely memories, of course. Every time we talk about hockey, it gives us goosebumps, and these stories only adding to that. Leander, I want this audience also to know what we were discussing back there. Why is it so important for anyone aspiring to have a career in sports to also watch and learn from other sports? I would love you to if you repeat that experience, what you learned from Paji's bowling action, what you learned from watching Zafar Saab in hockey, please share with them and explain to everyone why is it important to, pick these small things from different sports that contributes to a sports person.
I think most people think that winning Olympic medals is about physical fitness. I think most people believe that winning World Cups is about technique. But actually, as Zafar uncle said about 20 minutes ago, the difference between winning and losing is between your two temples. Champions have an innate quality of the mind game. My win-loss ratio is that I've lost 74.1% of matches I have ever played. But yet today, you win 18 Grand Slams, you win an Olympic medal. So it goes to show that even if you lose enough, the loss is not in losing. The victory is in standing up every time you fall. When I was a young kid of 7, 8, 9 years old, I used to watch Paji at Eden Gardens. And he would come, and Eden Gardens' wicket was really a beautiful wicket for bowlers. I considered myself as not a very talented tennis player. Why? Because I am short for a tennis player and I do not possess good technique on my backhand. But I would watch Kapil Paji on his run-up. He had a very long run-up. How many steps, Paji, did you have on your run-up exactly?
I'm not very good with the history.
So he had
I
a
like
very
to see tomorrow what's going to happen, but I don't know. I don't remember all these small
Never counted.
So he had this long run-up, and I noticed that when he ran, if any one of y'all really followed his technique, he would take his forefinger and his middle finger on the seam of the ball, and while he was running into bowl, his hands were also moving, which means that he had great rhythm. He was very smooth. I consider him to be one of the greatest athletes in India as an all-rounder, not because he only had technique, not because he only had this tough, rugged, athletic physique, but because he had the mental ability and humbleness to keep improving. Also on that, I would watch Zafar uncle play. He played for Air India. He played the left wing. He wore Adidas shoes, black with 3 white stripes on it. I was about 8, 9 years old, went to the Mohan Bagan Stadium with my father as the mascot. The hockey stick was bigger than me. But I would sit there and watch Zafar uncle on the left wing, run down the left wing like a gazelle with the hockey stick in one hand and just tap the ball past his opponents. And as we all know, the hockey stick is built for one-side action, right? Only nowadays you hit reverse stick. But back then, he was also one of the smoothest athletes. So I think that sometimes the lesson in life, to answer the question, is not necessarily about having talent in technique or talent in the physical aspects of life. But I think hard work, perseverance, dedication, passion, and the most important thing, the desire to keep improving, differentiates the have-nots from the champions.
Well said, well said. Anju, we talk about sporting icons. But when you entered the track and field, did you have anyone in your mind whom you were trying to, who was motivating you behind the scenes? You have been a motivation to so many young athletes. But who was your motivation? And do you think somewhere you missed having an iconic player in track and field who could have set a certain bar before you entered so that there was a little less pressure on you? I know, we all know P.T. Usha. Are you going to name her?
Actually, when I was an athlete, I was not looking at anyone because I still believe you should believe in yourself and you always try to work hard and motivate yourself and do your best. Because we are unique and I am not like anyone else. My talents are different and I am a different person. So I can't look at anyone and I don't want to be like someone else. I want to be Anju only. And I want... so I'm always telling kids, don't look at anyone. Be yourself and motivate yourself and do hard work. Definitely that will pay one day. And of course, Marion Jones, I was watching her a lot, but later stages I came to know that that was not true performance. So that's what I'm always telling. But in India, our women athletes, there are a lot of women athletes doing perfectly well. And Karnam Malleshwari was the first one who got the Olympic medal. Then during my time, Sania was there, then Saina came. Now there are a lot of women athletes, like Sindhu is there. Our
Mary Kom.
Mary Kom is there, of course, even after 4 kids, still she is young enough to do boxing. So our women athletes are doing perfectly well. Of course, our team events and other events are also there, but we are celebrating our women victory a lot.
No, don't feel shy to say we will overshadow their achievements quickly. Yeah, but that's great, Anju. But, coming back to the topic, Baji, of icons. Abhi recently, CSK mein kuch badlav hua hai. Dhoni says that he has passed on the baton of captaincy to Ravindra Jadeja. So I was reading a lot of, tweets and social media pe everybody is saying that, oh, it won't be the same CSK anymore, without Dhoni being the captain. It won't be the same IPL anymore without RCB में Kohli captain नहीं है, CSK में Dhoni captain नहीं है. Are we a country that is more, that worships its sporting icons more, or are we genuine sports lovers? What is your understanding?
I think, first of all, you have to have an icon to follow them. If you don't have an icon, it's very difficult, the youngster will follow. And once you make an icon and then you say they are drifting, the youngster will come out and start picking their new heroes. In our time, Sunil Gavaskar was our hero. We used to look up to him. Then slowly people keep on changing. Same thing. 10 years back, you would have said about Sachin Tendulkar. If he's gone, how we will watch cricket? Then Virat Kohli comes on, Rohit comes in. I think it's important you keep on producing the heroes champion.
So you say it's important?
It's important to start producing. If you don't have heroes, today, if you see the youngster, they want to do javelin. Why? We got a hero out of that. And like the girls start playing because Anju start doing something, the youngster look up to them and say, we want to do that. Same with Leander or anybody in that matter. So it's important you have to have a hero. Yes, if I love Dhoni, I said, no, it's not going to the same. Yeah, sure, for me. But the youngster coming, they will start picking their own heroes. And that's how the sports is. You cannot say only one person will determine the sports. No, if that is the way, cricket would have been finished long back. Dhoni se pehle bhi cricket hoti thi, Dhoni ke baad bhi cricket hogi. The new hero will come and take their place, and new youngster will come out and follow them.
Perfect. Zafar साहब, हॉकी में कैसे इसका इम्पैक्ट पड़ता है? वो आइकॉनिक प्लेयर्स जिनको देख के बच्चे हॉकी स्टिक उठाना चाहें, हॉकी के स्पोर्ट में आना चाहें. Obviously there was this generation that was producing one medal after the other from Olympics. Then in between we did have really hard-working hockey players. We remember the faces of Dileep Tirki, Dhanraj Pillai, pouring their heart out on the AstroTurf, but still not getting as many results as your generation had seen. Somewhere, do you think hockey lost out because we did not produce those results or those iconic players? What really happened?
No, it works both together. There's no doubt about it. We don't follow. We have to follow the, all great players, how they used to play, like Uddam Singh or Ajit Pal or Ashok Kumar or Govinda. I used to follow them, though we played together later stage. But we used to hear from them, they are doing a very hard work, this and that. But at the same time, you have to do the hard work. You have to be talented enough to match their talent. So, it is a combination. We definitely follow the icons of past, like Dada Dhyan Chand, used to be icon. Still he's an icon. Later on, great players like Leslie Claudius Saab was there, who played the 4 Olympic Games. Uddam Singh played 4 Olympic Games, though we played together, against him, the Uddam Singh, during the Nehru Gold Cup. So we used to learn from him, Paji, you just tell me how you do like this and that. And so he used to teach us also. But at the same time, you have to learn, you have to work hard, you have to show your own determination. There's no doubt about it, coming to that level, though everybody must have done a tremendous job to become a legend of our country. There's no doubt about Kapil Bhai Saab and Anju Bobby and Leander Paes. All of us have done to our best. There's no doubt about it. The fact is, yes, we do follow, but we have to work very hard at the same level how they did it in the past. So naturally, it has an effect. There's no doubt about, nowadays people follow Dhanraj Pillai, how he used to play, how fast he was, how to run, dribbling and this and that. We used to hear Dhyan Chand Sahab used to play under the moonlight, during the night time. So naturally, we also started here how it looks like, though we could not do so much, but he used to practice or dribble. Because in those days, hockey fields were not so smooth, but he was controlling like anything. Even in the, bumpy ground. So it depends on how you work hard. So we used to follow.
Leander, for any Indian, tennis is equal to Leander Paes. We've had amongst us an icon. Why is it that we haven't had another Olympic medal from tennis? Where do you think we lacked?
That's a great question. It's funny how we keep saying that out of 1.3 plus billion Indians, why don't we win more? I think we really need to look at that question and wonder how we have won so much already. Because if I sit here and ask all four of us on the panel, what infrastructure did we get in the 70s and the 80s, or in track and field, or when hockey changed from grass to AstroTurf, or in tennis as well? What infrastructure did we get when we were growing up to actually produce champions? And the answer will be not much. I think that one of the greatest things that we have improved on in the last 2 decades is infrastructure. In Mumbai alone, there are over 5,000 cricket teams. When we look at the popularization of a sport, it comes from having icons and champions who win. But in that, I can speak of tennis alone. Until 1998, we did not have one tennis court with floodlights on it where we could play in the evenings. And most of our matches are played at 8 p.m. under the lights. So how do you get used to that? How do you acclimatize to that? Let me give you another perspective. Right now we're sitting in March. The whole tennis tour is playing indoors because of the climate in the Northern Hemisphere. In India, we do not have one indoor tennis court. Not one. If I go to the University of Southern California, they have 6 indoor tennis courts. If I go to any college in America, they have indoor and outdoor tennis courts. The academy that my daughter's training at has 101 tennis courts itself in one academy. So I think infrastructure is an important thing. I think if you want to be a champion, you got to surround yourself in the right environment to give yourself a chance to become a champion. You got to surround yourself with like-minded people, with as hardworking people. I think that not just infrastructure, but also knowledge. I think that the ABP conversation that we are creating here is so important to discuss from the past champions and from people who are champions in different walks of life on how we can better our own country in India. I would like to literally tip my hat to ABP and say congratulations for organizing a conclave and a get-together like this of like-minded people who are champions in our own field to share our knowledge. I think this is how winning is done.
Brilliant. I think you're giving me a fantastic lead from there. I really want to talk with each one of you on what is the essence of a champion. Like, I have a little kid. I have a 4-year-old. Many in the audience would have young kids in their homes. Some of them would be aspiring athletes themselves. I want to know, how do we go about producing champions? Anju, if I bring my 4-year-old to you, or let's say when he's 6, thoda sa aage badh jate hain. How would you identify whether the kid has it in him or not? How would you then guide me as a parent what to do with him if he has that skill or that talent or whatever you identify in him? How would you guide me? And is it the responsibility of the parent to seek help? Is it the responsibility of you champions to go out scouting? Who does what? Kiski kya responsibility? I just want to understand that.
Actually, it should come from both the sides. If the parent is not ready to send their kids, how we can support them? So it should come from the parents first. Then scientifically, we have to look at that kid, and then first there is a coach's eye. So we can see and we can tell whether he is talented enough or not. And then we have to take them to our, where we can scientifically test them. And then we need to identify in which event they are good enough. But in our academy, what we are doing, we will take them first, and 3 months we will keep them in our foundation, and then all the tests we will do, then we will take them into our academy. But during our time, it was not happening. So we were just going and doing which all event is nearby available. Even in my time, when we go for Olympics or World Championship, we used to watch the athletes, American athletes, Russian athletes, or the European athletes, how they are doing, because every year research is happening all over the world, but it's not happening in India. And the technique is changing every year. Now it's easily available because of the all the internet and all the other things, but those days it was not possible for us. Either we have to go there, or now coaches are also coming here in India to teach us. So that is the key actually. And in infrastructure, in that sense, new equipment are also developing every year, how we can isolate our muscles and do training. We are generally doing here, and next day we will be like completely tired, and we are not able to do further training. But they are isolating the muscles and doing, and then we have to compete with those athletes who are like getting all this support. But as an athlete, I believe technically we are having that upper hand, and most of the technical events we are doing perfect. Even in athletics, technical events we are getting medals like javelin, long jump, discus, and hockey, tennis, all technical events. Even cricket also. Mm-hmm. So, but we are lacking all those like scientific background, scientific support. Even good coaches are also like we have to hire from abroad. But nowadays, actually, last 10 years, there are a lot of changes. We are supporting, we are getting support from ministry. Our athletes are able to go abroad. They can train there, or the best coaches are coming to India. So that's why I think there are a lot of changes, and we are getting more medals in Olympics and World Championships.
Brilliant. And I want to ask in the audience as well, a quick question to all of you. How many of you would encourage your child to take up sport? Can you please raise hands? It's still not a full house.
I just want to know all the people who raise their hand, if your kid is giving 10th exam and have to play for Junior India under 19, how many people will you say, forget the exam and go for India? Don't lie. I don't believe that even one person in this country will say 10th ke exam छोड़ो, आप जाके junior खेलो. No way. आपका लड़का क्रिकेट ना खेले, कोई और गेम से फुटबॉल के लिए आप नहीं करेंगे. जब तक ये माइंडसेट चेंज नहीं होगा, it is impossible to change. It is very easy to sit here, but 90% people will make sure आप 10th का एग्जाम दो, because the reason behind that, even my daughter, I would say, no, go and study, because only 1% can't make a life out of that. Why we as parents are the best in making our kid doctor, engineer, scientist, because we want them to study. The day the parents want them to play, genuinely, not talk about in this room, then the things will change. Otherwise, it's impossible. Whatever the talent is coming here, it's their own passion. With passion, you may win odd medal, sure, but you cannot continuously win till the parents or all kind of people. Here, you can't even get a job. If you represent country in certain sports, you will not get a job. So the parents say, "Pehle padho. Agar nahi kuch ban sake, at least you will have a life to do something. Nahi to chai ki dukaan nahi kholni." That's how it goes. And I personally feel we have to change first. And then government policy have to change. The most important government have to change is no duty on sports. No duty on sports. Then it will make change. It's so easy for the politician come, we want to win. Federation say we want to come, win. But when they come to the duty, He can't bring a javelin, it's 1 lakh of rupees cost, and then you have to pay duty for that. Even the shoes, a special shoes for AstroTurf, you can't bring them because they have to pay duty. Even I do the lighting, I know that. In lighting, we can't bring because you have to pay 30% duty for the sports lighting. The thought process have to change here and goes to the government, not to say, we have so many people, why can't we get medal? For that is not one person, everybody's thought process have to change. Even the media, they have to change. Not only looking for the person who bring the medal, give him everything. Before he get the medal, give him the facilities. We will have lot more medals, time to come.
I think that's a very, very honest answer and something that comes from your heart. Paji, we truly appreciate that. You have spoken about 2-3 important points. One is the attitude we as a society we need to have towards the culture of sports. The second is the infrastructure. Of course, all of you have weighed on that. I also want to, Leander, talk about the school system that we have, which does not support the making of a champion. I was reading Agassi's autobiography where he talks about how he was put in a school where the ambition was to train him in tennis and studies were part of the entire day's 1 or 2 hours, right? So his father, I think, spotted that talent in him and put him in that school. It was harsh on him. He elaborates on that in detail in his autobiography. But can we have that sort of school system? Why should we not put that onus on our school system as well, where we encourage kids to enjoy sports, and then we will spot who's talented, who's capable of being trained to be an Olympic champion?
That is the most fabulous question and suggestion that you've actually given today. And the fact that because every one of us going to school has to do physical training. Back in the day when we went to school, how many of you all recognize with the exercise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? I mean, we've all gone through that. I don't know how we're going to win World Cups and Olympic medals doing that. I think your suggestion that you've given is so brilliant, because as much as Anju said that it is the parents' responsibility to encourage the children, as much as Paji said that the young kids have to have the passion to do it. Until our school's education program does not make sports education a primary focus, 1, we are not going to produce champions, and 2, we are not going to inculcate a healthier community. I think that 45-minute period or that 1-hour period that we have to do 3 times a week in sports, in school, if during that 1-hour period, we can have physical testing, medical testing, mental testing, talent hunt, and then at the age, as you said, if you sent your child at the age of 4 to a school, that would be preschool, the mental makeup of a human being is already developed by the age of 4. Now you have to develop the physical skills, the sporting skills, the passion, the expression of the kid. So in that, I feel the school system is the most important focus to building champions, demarking which sport your boy child or your girl child should play, and assessing where their talent is. If, for example, your child is tall, you get them into track and field, you get them into basketball, you get them into those sports. If your child is short, but yet is really fast, you get them into hockey or you get them into football. If your child is very astute in a certain discipline of sport, even in a sport like cricket where you have bowling, you have batting, you have wicket keeping, very specialized positions, I think all of that can be trained in the school system. I feel the school system, just as Germany has, just as America has, just as Australia has, the Australian Institute of Sport does a great job. The day that India focuses on sports education is the day that we will have a healthier community and more champions in our country.
I think Zafar Saab wants to add to that. And I think that's one thing that we as parents are also not demanding from the schools. So now, those of you who raised your hands that you would want your child to go in sport, please demand that from your school, that we want a system where my kid is not given only 1 hour in a week in extracurricular period. in which you choose between PT or yoga. Yeah. So it has to be much more beyond that. And Zafar Saab, you wanted to add something?
No, I just wanted to share one thing. Though we are discussing, the parents are not interested to send their children in sporting arena or in sports. But the education policy 2020, in which I was also part of it in the earlier stage, and we had suggested, unless and until if a sports is not, compulsory or should not be part of the curriculum, the sports cannot grow in our country. And they have decided, and it has been passed also in both the houses. It is like an ordinance now. Every school has to create a subject for the children in the college and even in the universities. Earlier days, the Vice Chancellor was the main, person who will decide whether sport should be given priority or not. Nowadays, it is going to be implemented, but just now, after the month of March, every university has to have a curriculum like physics or chemistry as a sports. Sports should become a part of the curriculum, and the child has to take as he wishes, whether he wants to play hockey or football or cricket. There will be a practical and theoretical classes as physics or chemistry or any other subject. So that will have a big impact. I'm sure this policy, if it is going to be introduced in toto, and it should be, because it has a ordinance, like it has been passed in both the houses. So I'm sure in future we have a very, I can say a bright future in this sport. The children can have a sport as a subject in school or colleges or university. So I'm sure this will have an impact in future.
So policy is in place. Perhaps some part of population also has the right intention. Leander, you wanted to add to that?
So I just wanted to add to that when we look at the pressures on our youth, the pressures on our youth from social media, pressures on our youth from exams, 10th standard exams, 12th standard exams. Nowadays, even your first standard and second standard exams become important.
Yes.
The pressures on the parents from exams. I can humbly say that in our community in India, every mother has to spend hours and hours with their children on their exams. One of the biggest issues that we have in our country today is mental health. One of the greatest things that sports gives us is a balance of the mental health. Why? Because we lose so much that we learn how to become gracious losers. We win quite a bit. We learn how to be humble in winning. Also, at the same time, in trying to achieve excellence. Sports mental fitness is a very, very important subject. And this is what I wanted to add, that in that 1 hour period in schools, mental fitness, psychology, to relieve children from the stresses of modern day life, to equip them on how to deal with modern day life, sports plays a big role.
Absolutely. And the pressure on our youngsters, I think that's a very important point that you're making, and that's something that I want Anju to also talk about. I was reading Shri Singh, who's training under you, who's producing absolutely exciting results. She's one of our best prospects in Paris. I was reading her interview, and she says that, I have to spend 4 to 5 hours on my online classes preparing for my class 12 exam, I think. 10. Yeah, she's that young. There's so much of pressure on that young kid, She has she has exams to worry about. She has world championships to worry about. She has an Olympic to worry about. And all this takes a toll on an athlete, right?
Yeah, definitely. Sports people, actually, their IQ is working in a different level. So sports is basically science, and we need to learn the science behind sports. Because when we do something, when we need to lift a hand, we need to know why we need to lift the hand. So that's a science, actually, that we have to learn.
Right.
But even my kid, she's in the 3rd standard, and she's asking me, Mama, why I need to learn all this geography and history? I'm good in sports, I will do that. See, she's asking me. So I am not compelling her to learn anything. What you're learning from school, you just learn and write the exam, that's all.
Exam.
No, I am not compelling her. But Shaili, actually, this is her second time she is attempting for the exam. Because of the World Championship, she lost the first attempt. So second attempt, she have to go through, otherwise higher studies is a problem for her. That's why we are making her into sitting in 3 hours, 4 hours classes. But till a certain stage, if we want to express ourselves, we need to learn certain things. So see, we have to learn things, but it shouldn't be like forcefully we have to. Because athletes, they are already performing in the world stage, and that itself is something great. And as, like my kid, she's asking, why I have to learn all these things? I am not using in my later stages. So our curriculum, I think we have to change. Our government should seriously think about that. And we have to create a curriculum for those who are good in sports or those who don't want to study the other thing. Because all our parents are like going ICSE, CBSE, and many international schools they are.
Yeah.
Because it's a status symbol, I think. Even my neighbors are asking why you are keeping your kid in this school. It's a normal school. Actually, I was looking for a state syllabus school, but I couldn't find. So this is the...
But somewhere also reflects our insecurity as a country, because Leander was also talking about it earlier, that it's part of our culture कि पहले पढ़ाई कर लो फिर कुछ और कर लेना. And secondly, the parents who say that 12वीं पास का तो सर्टिफिकेट ले लो कम से कम, at least some job at clerical level would be ensured. उसके बाद देखते तुम sports में कुछ कर पाओगे या नहीं. So I think generally that insecurity, whether sports will land you with a job or not, exists. And I'm going to just tell the audience that in 2-3 minutes I'm going to ask you also to please come up with your questions. So if you have some question for one of our panelists here, please prepare that. In between, I want to put up one question related to another model that we haven't spoken about so far, and that's the Odisha model. How the government of Odisha really has helped the sport of hockey. So isn't it about time that we copy that model? Each state picks up a sport and they take it under their wings, give the infrastructure, provide whatever the athletes require, and that's the way to move forward and produce Olympic medals, isn't it? Zafar Saab, would you agree with me? Hockey ko kitna fayda hua hai Odisha model se?
Absolutely right, because hockey was dying, in fact, and the Chief Minister of Odisha was very kind enough to help hockey to grow in their own state as well for the country. And naturally, they are spending money. If the state government is spending 200 crore or 300 crore is not a big issue. But for a particular game, it has an effect. So naturally, this type of model, I'm sure, every state should come forward and take a particular game, okay, Olympics like a tennis or athletics or cricket has its own, there's no problem with the cricket, but football is there. So many, wrestling is there, the shooting is there. I think each state can take up one game and they put some money, they can give some facilities to the athletes. I'm sure the game will improve.
Smiling ki cricket ko to help ki zarurat nahi hai. Mumbai mein 5,000 academy hai. Paji, would you want to add to that?
I think ye nahi hai ki today, if we reach in cricket in that level, is only because the infrastructure and cricket board, even though I don't agree so many things, still I would like to say they've done fabulously well. They give an opportunity. They have academies. They are picking young boys and giving them opportunity to play. I don't know about other sports. I can't really say. I have no idea. Only I'm changing a little bit of thought process. When people say about pressure, I fail to understand what is pressure when you're representing the country. Is that pleasure or pressure? To me, it's a pleasure. When I represent my country, if it's a pressure, don't play. Who asked you to play? Nobody's asked you to play. When you're playing, it's a fun. I'm representing my country. But if you are thinking the 130 crore people are going to look up to you? No. You just enjoy your sports at that moment, whatever you are doing. When you see the pressure of people, you're not going to perform. If Virat Kohli is playing, somebody bowling 100 miles per hour, if he's thinking what people will think, second ball will hit the stump. You don't have to think, you just enjoy. Say, I'm going to play, I want to be, or maybe tennis. He's not thinking about how many people going to say what. If he's thinking, he's not going to. He have to enjoy himself. That's what we have to create for the kids. Next generation, go and enjoy, express yourself. Whatever sports you play, that's what we require in our country, not a pressure. Pressure should not be in education also. It should start giving the school, let's have fun in education. When there is a fun, the results are different.
Absolutely, Paji. And this is a great point where we, invite the audience to join the conversation. I'm opening the floor for your questions. If you have any question, please raise your hand. And of course, address it to the panelist that you want to put it up with.
Hello, I am Advocate Arun Deshmukh. And first of all, I would reiterate that 90%, more than 90% of the medals are won because of support of parents. And I am one of the proud parents wherein when the SSC exam was there, I asked my daughter to go and play for a judo national. She won the medal there.
Great.
We have academies, we have budget, but the admin expense takes away 90% of that budget. That is one problem. And as a parent, now the threat is mobile. If you do not ask your child to go to the ground, he will be lost in the mobile. Thank you. And that is the point where the sports will help the kids, the young generation and young India. If we don't ask our kid to go to ground, they will lose their all youth in this mobile.
I think he just made an observation, not in particular addressing any question. But any one of you want to make a point to the gentleman's point there? And he's leading by example. कि मैं तो अपने बच्चे को exam छुड़वा के भी sport के लिए encourage कर रहा हूँ. Anyone wants to add?
Well, first of all, I'd like to congratulate you, sir, for leading by example. That's one. I think you also bring a very valid point about the smart gadgets. In the fact of a smart gadget, where we know the dangers of smart gadgets, whether it's social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whether we know WhatsApp, all the stuff that goes on bullying on smart gadgets. But what I will also add, why not make a sports app? Why not look at a health app? Why not look at monitoring your sleep using an Apple Watch? Why not look at monitoring your heart rate using a smart gadget? All of us athletes have used modern tech to better ourselves. We use modern tech not just to watch YouTube and videos of our opponents, but being the son of a sports medicine doctor who's also an Olympic champion, we've managed to devise a way on how to use modern technology to better your quality of life. You can even look at your diet, the number of calories you eat, the protein intake, the carbohydrate intake, the amount of rice you eat, the amount of dal you eat. All of that can be monitored on a gadget. So I think educating our children on how to use their smart gadgets is important. I don't think that we can take them away from the smart gadgets anymore. I think that battle is long gone. But I think the responsibility of a parent is also to modernize yourself on what the next generation is using and train them that the knowledge of using modern devices is more important rather than keeping them away from it.
Hello.
Anybody else from the audience? Yeah, please go ahead.
My name is Nitin Gadkari and I represent boxing in Mumbai and Maharashtra. As we all aware, boxing is such a sport that it plays at lower level. And I agree with the Paji when you're saying you must have infrastructure, but at the same time, you must have a strength in your body and where it comes from. There is no diet. So it's not only having an infrastructure also, but what you used to do, all four of you, about your own diet. Do you were specific about eating some much for performance before match or during practice? I didn't know. Second question, it's like a Haryana model now. They are very much sure. When I win some medal for state, I have a job. So security and safety for the sportsman, yes, we must look at. And I just want you to comment from that. And one thing, Leander, I'm just working on a startup, how best we can use the sports technology in, getting a transparency into sports. Because most of the times, why my kid failed or not secured a gold, he was, in a partiality, he must have lost. And we don't have a system of transparency creating and showing the sports, the numbers, the athletics, gymnasium, when someone play and you get a number there. And we don't have that system and that technology. I think we should work on everything. Thanks.
There's a need to develop a lot of things to get cracking with the, bringing in sporting culture. But I think one of the questions that he did put up about was the diet of an athlete. That's very important. I mean, in a generation that's crazy about junk food, junk culture of social media, how do we train our kids towards food that would inculcate, Paji, good habits and then of course champions? ये तो बहुत basic चीज़ है जो हर घर में ज़रूरी है जानना.
I think awareness. End of the day, you have to make more people should understand, parents should understand, kids should understand. I'm not saying don't taste anything, but I think awareness is very, very important.
लेकिन आजकल के बच्चे awareness तो social media influencers से ले रहे हैं ना, वो भी तो dangerous है.
I think कहीं से भी ले रहा है. अगर जिसको चैंपियन बनना है वो अपने आप ढूंढ लेता है रास्ता. We are not going to force. In sports, I don't ever want to force any kid to play this, do this. Let him feel. A lot of people used to say, my kid want to play. The parents come out, my kid he want to play. Sure, he want to play. Tell him to get up without an alarm at 5 o'clock in the morning. Passion, that much if you have a passion. Today, I can say that. I'm not saying I have a passion for golf. You say 5 o'clock golf game, I don't need alarm. The alertness within your mind and passion have to be there to come out. I mean, you have to come for this debate. If you are thinking somebody have to push you, no. You should have a passion. Passion will give you the result, not anything else.
And once you spot that passion in your kid, it should not be stopped at any level. It should be encouraged.
Then the parents' duty is to encourage.
Right.
It's not force. Not parents want them to play. That's where the sad part is. The kids also should be there. Parents' job is to show them. This is swimming pool, this is horse riding, this is golf, this is hockey, this is cricket. The kids should pick up. We should guide them. Because at age of 12 to age of 18, kids' interests keep on changing. The biggest we come to know when he reach or she reach age of 17, 18, what is his or her interest in life. That's the very critical time. Before that, kids will just want to play. But when you reach 17, you want to play other games also.
And ऐसा नहीं है कि नीरज चोपड़ा ने javelin throw करके गोल्ड जीत लिया तो आप अपने बच्चे के पीछे पड़ जाएं. Javelin उठा और एक और गोल्ड मेडल लेके आना है इंडिया के लिए. It doesn't work like that. You have to spot the talent in the kid. I have more hands coming up in the audience. Yeah, can we have the mic here? Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi all of you. I have just produced a film called Jhund, which is on slum soccer team of India, homeless soccer team, which was created by Mr. Vijay Barse from Nagpur, a sports teacher. After retirement, channelized slum children to play World Cup from India. And this film was made recently, and Nagaraj is still playing in theaters, and Nagaraj Manjule directed it. So I and Mr. Bachchan played the professor. And I really want to know from all you sports guys, I don't know how many of you are even, have heard of that film or seen the film, but at the same time, if we say that we have 130 million, 130 crore population, and we have many World Cup champions here, so it has to start from there, that basic, I feel. And that is the reason we followed that concept and we made that film, that sports can actually change kids' life in this country, and where they don't have a power of studying or going to college, sports can actually channelize that, and we all, sitting here or here, can actually adopt a child and give them one ball in life and see the change.
No, you make a very, very good point, and I'm sorry I haven't seen the movie. I apologize. I'll take up your question, Shagun, just a second. But I want to know from all of you, we have seen in the last decade or so many biopics being made on sports personalities. We've had a picture on Mary Kom, Azharuddin, and so many more. Does it help in generating more champions? Have you seen something to that effect? Sort of bringing it in our psychology that, मज़ा आ गया पिक्चर देख के, इतना कुछ अचीव किया है स्पोर्ट्स पर्सन ने अपनी लाइफ में. But does that help? Do you see that in academies, Anju? If you can take that up. अब क्या नीरज चोपड़ा पे फिल्म बनेगी तब और champions आएंगे? What should we do?
No, I think parents actually, after seeing this film or some biopics, some spark they are getting. So they are confused actually what to do with their kids or how to go if they are talented, how to support them. So actually parents are playing a big role in that. When I was young, my mother was the support, she was the pillar behind me. So there were a lot of eyeballs. Why you are sending your kid to sport? She will be under the sun throughout the day and she will get dark. She won't get a good husband. So many things. But my mother told, if she got the talent, she will do. And I will support her. That was her word. So that's why I reached here till this stage. So these parents actually, they have to play a better role. I think these kind of films actually giving some spark on their views. So I'm not saying that this will support them completely, but some spark they are getting.
It ignites some sort of imagination, and then rest has to be written according to an individual's capacity. Shagun, you wanted to ask a question? Yeah. In the meantime, can I take a question from here? You call for the mic there. Yeah, please go ahead.
Hello. Can I speak? Yeah, my name is Martin D'Souza. This is a question to Leander. Preeti some time ago asked you a question, why don't we have more tennis champions? I am a sports journalist. I used to be a sports journalist. I used to cover a lot of matches of you in the early 90s playing at MSLTA. I remember you used to come there. We used to have a lot of local tournaments then. Tennis, badminton, table tennis, basketball. Today in the city of Mumbai, it is zero. In individual sports, when you have talent, it is very difficult for a parent to push that child because of the finances. I remember we had Misha Grewal in the 90s, who was the squash champion after Bhuvaneshwari. Her parents spent a lot of money sending her abroad, while the Squash Federation of India did nothing. I'm sure you'll have cases in tennis, also in individual sports. How do we address this issue of a talent being pushed by the government? Is the government doing enough for individual sports? That is question number one. Question number two, we used to have wonderful tournaments in football. We used to have the Santosh Trophy, the Durand Trophy, Rovers Cup. Today, cooperage is being used for weddings. What is happening to sports, and why isn't the government doing enough to promote sport at the grassroots, and why is it being killed systematically?
Martin, I believe that certain sports like tennis have 99% of our tournaments outside India, especially when you look at the professional level. When you look at the grassroots levels, the number of tournaments have diminished a lot. I agree with you that that is a point that the tennis fraternity or the association of tennis has to focus on. Because when you look at a sport like cricket, a lot of athletes sit back and say, the cricket boys get all the limelight, the cricket boys get all the infrastructure. I think we should learn from cricket. I think the reason that cricket is so popular and does so well is because on the grassroots levels, in Mumbai alone, we probably have in tennis, we probably have maybe 5 tournaments a year. In Mumbai alone, you probably have about 2,000 cricket teams in Mumbai. Not Maharashtra. Maharashtra, the numbers are multiplied. I think, as Paji said earlier, the passion for sport needs to start at the grassroots levels. And Martin, you are 100% right. The more tournaments we have, the more competitions we have, the more exposure we give our young children to play against other competition, that is how they get better. to answer the second question, even though it was football, which is not my forte, I can say that the ISL does a great job. I think that leagues in our country are once again following cricket. IPL today is one of the biggest sporting leagues in the world when it comes to corporate dollar and when it comes to interest. They've taken a long format of cricket and capsuled it into a 3.5 or 4 hour match. And hence, everybody in the house is glued to IPL. They're glued to whether Virat Kohli is captaining or whether Dhoni is captaining a team. And I think that's the beautiful part of cricket. I think as other sports, we should not take shots at cricket. We should learn from cricket. I would also like to commend that BCCI as an association of cricket puts 200 crores approximately into other sports. To me, that's pretty damn good. So I think that, Martin, you're right. We should have more competitions. And I think you're also right that it is the association's job to promote the sport. The last thing I want to add to this, I know time's running short, but when you look at sports governance, one of my favorite sports ministers was Kiran Rijiju. When Kiran Rijiju was in play, he brought Khelo India into play. And Khelo India that came in to promote sport in our country is the reason that India has had 7 Olympic medals in the Tokyo Olympics. I say that Khelo India and Kiran Rijiju's vision was the primary reason that India came back from Tokyo with the most number of Olympic medals won in a single Olympics. I think this needs to be replicated. I think athletes like this, like Kapil Paji, like Anju, like Zafar Uncle, and all the athletes who have achieved something need to come back. They need to be brought back into the sport to encourage the system to build champions.
And nurture the passion that we've been talking about for quite some time. Passion, I think, is required at every level, whether it's at the government's level, a parent's level, at school level, a federation's level. That's something that we've not been able to manage very well. Any more questions from the floor? Yeah, Shagun.
Ma'am, I would like to ask a question.
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Okay, so in the during the discussion, I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. So in the discussion, it was a really great session, to be honest. Thank you so much. But there was a mention of how the kids should be given the chance from a very good, from their childhood in their school days, right? So my question is it more important for the children to understand the change, or is it the parents because when we're talking about children, right now it will be of a future thing. But for that to happen, we need the parents to now understand the importance of what sports is and how good it is for the mental health and all the benefits. So is it more important for the parents to understand the change or the children to understand the change? I open it to all the panelists.
A very long question. I think the gist is that whose responsibility is it to understand the change that we need to bring in our sporting culture? A child should make up their mental attitude towards it, or it's the parents? I think we've discussed that extensively. The parent, I think, has to start that process. Zafar sir?
जो मैं कहना चाह रहा हूँ that club culture we have lost in the last 40 or 50 years, I would say. And that was the base of our sporting career. We had number of clubs in every state, and from there the children used to play in the mohalla or their own clubs and used to get, playing different games. So वो जो एक चीज़ है club culture we are losing. We have to develop club culture in every state, in every mohalla, in every district. Otherwise, it is, it will be very difficult because we are depending on academic culture. But academic culture is also dependent on the club culture, from where these children will come from. In Punjab, in the last 10 years, the players who are playing hockey these days for the country, they are coming from the clubs in different villages. And from there, the academies are picking the top talent, and they are giving the coaching and all sorts of supporting, scientific support of diet, is giving the free education they are providing. So that is what we are lacking. We have to regenerate our club culture in our country.
I think similarly, there are these small boxing clubs in various parts of Haryana, and we've got boxing champions coming from there. And that's why I raised that point earlier, that, you know, if a state decides to adopt a sport, it becomes even more easy to nurture the talent that they have in that particular state. We have more questions from here. Radhika, I think you want to put up a question?
Yes, thanks, Preeti. So, no, we've spoken about the responsibility of governments, federations, parents, schools. Do corporate houses, businesses with deep pockets also have a responsibility? Because बात कहीं ना कहीं इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट की जब होती है तो फंड्स पे आके रुक जाती है. ऐसा नहीं है कि अब स्पोर्ट्स में फंड्स नहीं हैं, आप आईपीएल देखिए या कबड्डी लीग देखिए. तो क्या रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बिजनेस हाउसेस की, कॉर्पोरेट्स की है यहाँ पर to develop mechanisms where they can identify talent and nurture it? How would you encourage them to do that? The question is open for all panelists.
Anybody in particular? Is it addressed to someone in particular, or anyone can answer?
Kapil, Paji, Leander.
Paji would start then.
I thought it's not responsibility of one person, responsibility of everybody. You can't say only corporate world will take it and they will ready to help. No, I think mindset have to change. When the mindset change, then you can change everything. I wouldn't say maybe you will get odd person with corporate coming in or club coming in, but the entire country's mindset have to change. When that change, we will have an athlete in abundance. I'm not saying odd person will come, doesn't matter any facilities you have it or not. But if you want numbers, then everybody have to change their thought process.
No, and I think, again, to add to that, Baji, how would corporates also come out and help? ऐसा तो है नहीं मेरी बहुत बड़ी कंपनी में बोलूं मुझे आज से रेसलिंग को हेल्प करना है.
हमें corporate चाहिए नहीं कि हम उनको force करें. If they have a mindset, they should say, we will take this sports. Again, I'm saying mindset of every corporate, they shouldn't be. Like what he said, Odisha is only come out because the chief minister of that state
was passionate,
love about that hockey, and that's what it happened. Somebody come out, he loved tennis, that state will start doing tennis.
Which state can adopt tennis, Leander?
As Paji said, every state.
Pick up one.
It's not just about one.
Let's put the onus.
I think South is more into tennis, and I've seen that interest for the tennis. It's like Haryana is more wrestling and boxing and kabaddi and those type of things.
Right.
So every state have to do their job, but policy of the country should change slowly. We have to encourage the sports, not only one sports or two, all the sports, then you will produce in numbers.
Yeah, and I think we are moving towards that direction. When we talk about ideas of India, one of the biggest ideas that this government has come up with, this Khelo India idea and Fit India movement, this is all to inculcate a certain culture in our society so that it comes from grassroots level. I have more questions coming in. Yeah, Maria.
Hi. So me belonging to a media house, I want to know what is media house role in, grooming up a niche sport like golf. For example, we as a media house started broadcasting of golf. How do you think such a niche sport can be brought into more limelight?
Golf, sir, आपका area है.
I think golf.
Paji is passionate about golf.
No, golf, tennis, badminton, they are very individual game. As Leander said that, because when the individual games come, then it's a different type of mindset comes and different kind of people come. When you say a team game comes, then the federation and other things start coming. Individual game is very much interested by the parents and those associations where they're ready to give the scholarship and say that. What Leander said that he he got the scholarship in the beginning when they know foreign exchange you have. So today also we produce so many good golfers, but that's their own effort. But they still need help at the federation also, where they, whatever the small help they get it. A tennis and golf, two games are like that. You have to spend your own money. If you have to travel, cricket board will pick up. I can say if Leander have to play 10 tournaments, nobody will give him travel, accommodation, everything. Same with the golf also. We have to understand that golf is everybody, the young boy have to make his own arrangement. Even he have to pay for his caddy, he have to pay for his hotel and everything. When he win the money, then he enjoys that. But a lot of people play, they don't get that sort of facilities.
तो मान लिया पाजी ने कि गोल्फ और टेनिस जो है वो नीश स्पोर्ट है, बहुत महंगे पड़ते हैं.
No, it's not. I tell you still, 90% of the world golfer come out lower middle class people. In India also, elite golfer maybe 5%, but 50-60% people come out caddy turn. What we say smart golfer, they come, they were caddy and they turn out. In the world of golf also, the best of the best golfer all time were caddy once upon a time.
But Paji, caddies still got access to golf course. It's also about having access, right? And having that exposure.
But what we said before is only infrastructure. You give them, as Leander said, you give them the playground. The young kid will come out. I'm not trying to criticize anybody. There is round about 50 stadiums in our country where people don't have access to go in to express themselves, go and play. They are not allowed. So why you make such a big stadium if you can't go and play there?
Right. The girl in the audience there complained about the fact that we started pretty late with sports discussion, but I think I've been very fair and we've got a fair amount of time to have a very detailed discussion on the ideas of India and how sports can contribute to it. One more question is coming from the audience and then I'll wait for my cue to come in. Yeah, go ahead.
Navroz, you have a question?
Yes, I have a question and also an interesting anecdote with Kapil. Kapil, do you remember at the Bombay airport a few years ago when we both got off the flight and your car did not come to pick you up? So we were having coffee at that small restaurant in the airport. And one gentleman from a bank came up to Kapil and said, I have a very young son who's 5 years old, who's brilliant at cricket. And which academy should I send him to? आपको याद होगा ये? ऐसे इंसिडेंट हुआ था. So, you know what Kapil said? अभी 5 साल का है ना, उसको खेलने दो. Don't try and influence him too much by a coach and by everything else. Let him develop his own skill and talent. So my question to all you athletes and all you champions is, at what age do you let a kid really go and explore himself and express himself? And at what age does actual coaching and academies come in?
I can only say about cricket, everybody is not Sachin Tendulkar. Age of 15 can represent country. Everybody is not like Boris Becker, who can go age of 16 or 17 win the Wimbledon. I think you have to see your own kids, what is the right age for them. Yes, start introducing, but I think after 15, 16, they should ready, which I said before also, will be ready. Not before that, open the gate, let them play.
Fantastic. And I think before I take up another question, I have a question for the audience here. How many of you really believe that the idea of India is incomplete without sports contribution to it? And then now we are going to ask our panelists to weigh in on that one by one. Your concluding comments really. The idea of India. Is it complete without sports contribution or not, Leander? Let's start with you. And how do we take it forward? Of course, we all talk about the fact that, we need to produce more Olympic champions and give results so that kids are encouraged to take up sports. But in that sense, Infrastructure first or champions first, or is it a cycle that has, no head, no tail? It has to go on in its own, way.
That's a chicken and egg situation, whether the champion should come first or whether the infrastructure should come first. But in that, I feel that not every person can be a Sachin Tendulkar. Not every person can be a Kapil Dev or a Zafar Iqbal or a Anju Bobby George. But I feel that everybody should take a conscientious decision about your own quality of life. I think that every generation is living longer. Our grandparents lived until they were 50, 60 years old. Our parents are living till they are 70, 80 years old. Because of modern produce, because of modern medicine, the longevity of a human age in every generation is getting longer. But I concentrate on the quality of life. For me, sports brings in that quality of life. For me, I feel that if you are conscientious about what food you eat, conscientious about the sleep that you sleep, conscientious about your fitness regime, conscientious about the shoes that you wear, the clothes that you wear, the environment you live in, including the environment you create in your own house for your family and your children, that differentiates between a stressful life or a quality life. And I think sports brings that in. Especially when you look at us athletes who have now retired. While we were playing, we were so focused on our diet, on our training regime, on the amount of skips we did, the push-ups we did, how many carbs we ate, how many hours we slept, all the rehab we did. But especially now, as we've gotten older and retired, we have to pay even more attention to it. I think that the importance here is the quality of life versus the longevity of life.
And the choice is yours. Anju, your thoughts on the champion first or the infrastructure first, and how does sport really contribute to the idea of India?
See, in sports, actually, we are not teaching how to win. We are teaching them how to win and how to lose. So that's the main thing now. The new generation kids, they don't know how to lose. So sports actually, it brings discipline in your life. That's, as Leander said, that's the main thing. And this winning-losing ideas, it's giving us. And of course, we need more champions. We have to support athletes, and the system should support. And it's like egg or the chicken first. That's the question. So it should be a collective effort. It should be a collective effort from the government, from the parents, from the system. And it's the Olympic medals, if you look at the numbers, it's directly related to the developed countries. Actually, more medals are winning by developed countries, actually. US or the most European countries.
But
India
we have
is still
China
a
now.
developing country, so we are yet to reach that level.
No, but nobody talks about the China model.
China is a different.
You can't force anyone to pick up a sport.
So we can't focus on that model, because from the at the age of 2 or 3, it's military model training they are giving. That I don't think it's needed in India.
Right, Zafar sir, I really want your thoughts on the same. Champions तो बना रहे हैं हम लोग, but time लगता है, process है.
देखिए मेरे ख्याल में चैम्पियन तो अपने आप बनता है. जब बच्चा खेलता है तो ही नोज वेयर ही इज गोइंग टू डू. एंड मेरे ख्याल में मेरा अपना मानना है कि स्पोर्ट्स शुड बी प्लेड बाय एवरीवन. यानी स्पोर्ट्स का मतलब ये नहीं कि हर आदमी ओलंपिक्स में जाएगा, वर्ल्ड कप में जाएगा. एटलीस्ट ही शुड बी गुड इनफ टू कीप हिमसेल्फ फिट. एक्चुअली फिटनेस की बात है कि एक इंसान कैसे फिट होता है. तो यानी द चिल्ड्रन मस्ट टेक स्पोर्ट्स एज ए पार्ट ऑफ हिज लाइफ. और मैं अभी भी इन माय ओपिनियन कि ये ऐसी मेडिसिन है कि जिसने खा लिया वो फिर वो कामयाब हो जाएगा. दिस इज माय थॉट कि भाई ये ऐसी मेडिसिन है जिसने खा लिया वो सक्सेसफुल होगा आप ज़िंदगी के अंदर. देयर इज नो सेकंड ओपिनियन कि इसमें कोई मैं गलत कह रहा हूँ. this is my personal experience. He can go anywhere, he can mix up with everyone. देखिए मैं आप अभी भी कहता हूँ जब हम खेलते थे पंजाब के 10 लड़के, मद्रास के 5 लड़के, बॉम्बे के 4 लड़के, एवरीबडी इज यूनाइटेड. और वही एक बकेट रहता था नेशनल स्टेडियम में, 10 गिलास है उसके अंदर, वो सब उसी से पी के जा रहे हैं. सब पीते फेंकते जाते हैं, प्यास लग रही मैं फेंक रहा हूँ, उसमें घास भी पड़ा है, उसमें जो भी है सब पी के जाते थे. यानी इट टीचेस ए लॉट, यानी इट हैज़ ए ग्रेट वैल्यू. और आज भी हम लोग स्पोर्ट्स के ऐसे लोग हैं जो सब यूनाइटेड है. स्पोर्ट्स यूनाइट्स द कंट्री. ऐसा नहीं कि अगर क्रिकेट फाइनल खेल रही है तो एवरीबडी इज यूनाइटेड, हॉकी फाइनल खेल रही है तो एवरीबडी इज यूनाइटेड. तो ये जो स्पोर्ट्स है ये वो चीज़ है जो हम कहते हैं कि अगर हम जीत भी गए तो हम आपसे कहेंगे यस यू हैव प्लेड बेटर देन मी, बट समहाउ यू हैव वन. वो कहेगा, मगर ये एक दूसरे डिपार्टमेंट में नहीं होता, दूसरे चीज़ों में नहीं होता. हर आदमी लेता नहीं मैं अच्छा हूँ, मगर स्पोर्ट्स ये सिखाता है कि यस अगर लैंडर पेस जीत गया है मुझसे, मगर शायद मैं अच्छा खेलाऊंगा, ही विल कम टू मी एंड अप्रिशिएट कि यस यू हैव प्लेड बट आई हैव वन. दिस इज कॉल्ड एज.
और वो हैंडशेक जो हर मैच के एंड में होता है. बिल्कुल
मैं आपको अभी भी बता रहा हूँ. आप देखिए पाजी, अभी हम लोग हार गए थे पाकिस्तान से, कोई मैच था 10 विकेट से. इंडियन टीम हैज अप्रिशिएटेड देम कि यू हैव प्लेड द गेम. और ये सोचिए ये स्पोर्टिंग स्पिरिट ये सिखाता है हमें, और आज हम उसी पे निर्भर हैं और रहेंगे भी और कभी भी झुकेंगे नहीं. और ये जैसे लोग कहते हैं कि हम लोग फेडरेशन के करीब जाएं, तो ये बड़ा मुश्किल होता है फॉर अस कि हम किसी के सामने जा कर के ये कहें कि यार हमको रख लो. ये हमारे खून के अंदर नहीं है. जो खिलाड़ी खेलता है उस लेवल पे वो आपके सामने झुकेगा नहीं, जो कंट्री के लिए खेलते हैं हम लोग. यानी दिस टाइप ऑफ स्पिरिट वी हैव डेवलप्ड.
और एक खिलाड़ी बहुत इमोशनल भी होता है. आप सबसे बात करती हूँ वो मुझे नज़र आता है, हम सब महसूस भी कर सकते हैं. कंक्लूडिंग कमेंट्स रियली टू पाजी, एंड देन ऑफ कोर्स वी हैव यूनियन मिनिस्टर नितिन गडकरी जी amongst us, and we'll be starting our discussion with them. पाजी,
अच्छा लगा कि ये भी बैठे हुए हैं.
हाँ बिल्कुल, सही समय
कभी
पे मैसेज
स्पोर्ट्स के
आएगा.
बारे में भी सुन लें. हम तो इनको दिन रात सुनते रहते हैं. So sometime if they listen to us from our side of the story also very good. No, I think what your question was very right is that first you want a champion or you want a, according to me, champion will come, but you want to make a team, then you need infrastructure. Odd person will come, doesn't matter if there is infrastructure or not. That throughout the world it will happen. Not now, 100 years back also we produced champion. But when you want in abundance, you want more people, then you need infrastructure.
Right.
Sachin जैसे player, Sunil जैसे player, या ध्यान जैसे player, या मिल्खा जैसे, वो आते रहेंगे. But क्या हम टीम बना सकते हैं? उसके लिए you have to work as a team, not individual.
Wonderful words to really end this discussion, this conversation with all of you legends in your own field. Thank you so much. A big round of applause really for all our panelists here, and for taking all the questions also. And मैं बस ये summarize करना चाहती हूँ. I think the thing that we really felt in this discussion was एक देश एक शरीर है, उसकी आत्मा के कई हिस्से हैं. उस आत्मा में खेल भी है जो जान झोंकता है, और नितिन गडकरी जी हमें इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर चाहिए. इसके बारे में खूब चर्चा हुई है. आई एम श्योर इट विल रीच द राइट पर्सन एट द राइट टाइम, एंड वी आर ऑल वर्किंग टुवर्ड्स इट. थैंक यू सो मच. थैंक यू लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन फॉर बीइंग अ फैंटास्टिक ऑडियंस. थैंक यू सो मच.
Thank you very much indeed, Preeti. We request all our legends to please stay on stage. We'd now like to invite Shailendra Hegre and Preeta Dandapani, Director Sales ABP Network, to present all our legends with the token of thanks. And ladies and gentlemen, you may have already noticed, but the Honorable Cabinet Minister Nitin Gadkari is now with us. We will be starting with this session very soon. But please give a rousing welcome to Shri Nitin Gadkari. And let those claps keep going on. as we felicitate India's icons, जिन्होंने सिर्फ खेल नहीं हमारे दिल भी जीते हैं. Thank you very much. What a beautiful photo op. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a very, very big round of applause. They've given us so much of their time today, all our sporting icons. Thank you very much indeed. As we set up for the next session, ladies and gentlemen, a quick reminder that tomorrow we have a stellar lineup of sessions for you. Our speakers tomorrow include international journalist and host Fareed Zakaria, Amir Khan, and also we will be joined by Karan Johar, Bhupesh Baghel, as well as Ritesh Agarwal, the founder of Oyo Rooms. Requesting our dear audience members to please take their seats.
Ideas of India presented by Wildstone New Classic Range. लोग तो नोटिस करेंगे. State partner Government of Chhattisgarh. Associate partner Neroland. ये पेंट नहीं पेंट प्लस है. Wellness partner Himalaya Wellness Company. खुश रहो खुशहाल रहो. Technology partner Acer Laptops. जिंदगी के हर रंग के लिए. Supported by
approach of the BJP government under the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi. And keeping this motto as context, our next keynote address elaborates on the vision for a new India, a new manifesto. And our keynote speaker, of course, is someone who is literally building this vision for us brick by brick, road by road. Please give a very warm welcome to the Honorable Minister of Road Transport and Highways, Government of India, Shri Nitin Gadkari. And facilitating this session is ABP's Sumit Avasthi. Welcome, sir.
नितिन जी, बहुत देर कर दी हुजूर आते आते. ये शाम जो है एक कब से आपका इंतज़ार कर रही थी और जिस काम से आप गए थे वो ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है. लखनऊ से सीधे चले आ रहे हैं. शपथ दिलाई है योगी जी को. उस कार्यक्रम में मौजूद थे आप. हम यहाँ लाइव देख रहे थे और इससे अच्छा मौका क्या हो सकता है कि जब आप सीधे लखनऊ से भी यहाँ पहुँचे हैं तो मैं सवालों का सिलसिला वहीं से शुरू करता हूँ आपकी इजाज़त से. बताइए. सबका साथ, सबका विकास, सबका विश्वास, इस नारे के साथ पार्टी जीत रही है. इस सेशन का थीम भी यही है. 2014 से लेकर 2022 में हम आ चुके हैं. यही फॉर्मूला है विनिंग का. हिंदुत्व का चेहरा, अनुशासन की बात और फ्री का राशन, या ऐसा राशन जो जनता को मदद करता हो. यही 24 जिताएगा.
देखिए, गुड गवर्नेंस ये किसी भी देश के लिए सबसे महत्वपूर्ण होता है। और भारतीय जनता पार्टी की जो फिलॉसफी है उसमें पहला जो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है वो है नेशनलिज्म, राष्ट्रवाद। दूसरी बात जो है गुड गवर्नेंस एंड डेवलपमेंट। और तीसरा जो इम्पोर्टेंट पिलर है वो है अंत्योदय, जो सोशली, इकोनॉमिकली, एजुकेशनली बैकवर्ड है, जिनके लिए रहने के लिए मकान नहीं, खाने के लिए रोटी नहीं, शरीर पर कपड़ा नहीं, उन दरिद्र नारायण को हम भगवान माने और उसके जीवन में परिवर्तन होने के लिए निरंतर प्रयास करें। और जिस दिन उस व्यक्ति को रोटी, कपड़ा और मकान मिलेगा उस दिन हमारा कार्य पूरा होगा, ऐसा हम समझेंगे। ये पंडित दीनदयाल उपाध्याय जी का सोशियो इकोनॉमिक थिंकिंग अंत्योदय के नाम से हमारा उद्दिष्ट है। तो मुझे लगता है कि यही इम्पॉर्टेंट बातें हैं जिसके आधार पर हमने काम किया। एक बात इम्पॉर्टेंट है कि बहुत पहले सुंदर राजन करके एक पत्रकार थे, उन्होंने बीजेपी के बारे में एक अच्छा, मैं शुरुआत में जब बीजेपी में आया था उन्होंने एक अच्छा लेख लिखा था अंग्रेजी में, उसमें लिखा था इमेज वर्सेस रियलिटी। तो ये जो हिंदुत्व है ये बात को लेकर कभी कभी जो प्रेजेंटेशन होता है वो थोड़ा गलत तरीके से होता है। पहली बात तो ऐसे है कि जात, पंथ, धर्म, भाषा और सेक्स के आधार पर किसी भी प्रकार का डिस्क्रिमिनेशन हमको मान्य नहीं है। जस्टिस विथ ऑल एंड अपीजमेंट ऑफ नन इज द बेसिक प्रिंसिपल। और इसलिए हिंदुत्व के बारे में भी सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने भी व्याख्या की है। और आज मैं, कभी आपको लगेगा तो आप भी सब लोग रिसर्च जरूर करिए कि हिंदू धर्म का अर्थ कर्तव्य के साथ होता है और हिंदुत्व ये जीवन पद्धति है, वे ऑफ लाइफ है। और धर्म और संप्रदाय दोनों अलग होते हैं। तो कभी ना कभी फिर जब हिंदुत्व का, तो हिंदुत्व का अर्थ एंटी क्रिश्चियन, एंटी मुस्लिम, ऐसा इंटरप्रिटेशन होता है। हमारी कोई योजना में 7 साल में हमारी सरकार ने किसी जात, पंथ, धर्म, भाषा के आधार पर किसी को डिस्क्रिमिनेट नहीं किया। अगर राशन बांटा तो सबको दिया, अगर हेल्थ सर्विसेज में हमने कोई स्कीम खोली सबको दी, रोजगार के लिए मदद की सबको की। यानी किसी भी स्कीम में इस प्रकार से हमारा कोई कम्युनल अप्रोच नहीं था। और इसीलिए सबका साथ, सबका प्रयास, सबका विश्वास और सबका विकास, यही बात जो है ये प्रत्यक्ष रूप से इसका अनुकरण।
2022 तो आप जीत गए, 5 में से 4 जीत गए। पंजाब तो खैर आप लोग स्ट्रांग थे भी नहीं, लेकिन अपने दम पर जीते हैं। तो यही फॉर्मूला है 2024 का। 2024 की तैयारी शुरू हो गई है।
देखिए, ये तो बहुत स्वाभाविक है कि एवरी पॉलिटिशियन थिंक्स अबाउट इज नेक्स्ट इलेक्शन। पर मैं मानता हूँ कि केवल इस प्रकार से
सच एन ऑनेस्ट कन्फेशन,
ये सही होता है। पर मैं थोड़ा इसके अलग जाके आपको कहूँगा कि पॉलिटिक्स इज ए इंस्ट्रूमेंट ऑफ सोशियो इकोनॉमिक रिफॉर्म। और जब तुम कोई अच्छा काम करते हो, अभी मैं आज मुंबई बहुत दिनों के बाद आया हूँ। एक समय मैं मुंबई में था तो ये उड्डान पुल बना माहिम का, जिससे आज मैं आया। तो आज ट्रैफिक जाम में 20-25 मिनट बैठ गया, तो अटक गया वहाँ। तो मैं कह रहा था कि मैं जब 95-2000 में 55 फ्लाईओवर और ये वर्ली बांद्रा और मुंबई पुणे हाईवे ये सब काम करने का मुझे मौका मिला, तो मैं कह रहा था कि अगर ये नहीं होता तो हम और कार्यक्रम में 1 घंटा लेट जाते हैं। अब फिर मैंने कहा कि अब मैं रहता तो मुझे लगता कि अब 3 लेयर के फ्लाईओवर चाहिए। एक नीचे में रास्ता, उसके ऊपर फ्लाईओवर, उसके ऊपर फ्लाईओवर, उसके ऊपर फ्लाईओवर, उसके ऊपर मेट्रो, क्योंकि इतनी संख्या बढ़ी है। अब ये हम ऐसे बना रहे हैं तो कभी ना कभी इसकी तसल्ली भी होती है। और जो काम होता है विकास के लिए, समाज के लिए, गरीब के लिए, और वो मुझे लगता है वो करना ही राजनीति में लोकतांत्रिक पार्टी का कर्तव्य होता है। और उसका परफॉर्मेंस ऑडिट आप लोग करें और जनता करे। अगर अच्छा किया तो चुन कर दें, नहीं किया तो बदल दें।
आप क्योंकि लखनऊ से चले आ रहे हैं सीधे अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी स्टेडियम में, जहाँ शपथ ग्रहण समारोह हुआ, प्राइम मिनिस्टर मौजूद थे, मुख्यमंत्री तो थे ही थे, शपथ थी। ये जो जीत मिली उत्तर प्रदेश में आपको, क्योंकि इसके बारे में बहुत सी बातें कही गई, लिखी गई, जब तक 10 मार्च नहीं आया था। ये जीत किसकी है? योगी जी की लोकप्रियता की जीत है, मोदी जी के दिशा निर्देश की जीत है, किसकी जीत है? अगर आपको डिफाइन करना पड़े बीजेपी के पूर्व अध्यक्ष, बड़े नेता होने के नाते, तो कैसे डिफाइन करेंगे?
देखिए, भारतीय जनता पार्टी की जो सरकार है केंद्र में मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में, उस सरकार ने किया हुआ काम और योगी जी के नेतृत्व में उत्तर प्रदेश के सरकार ने भी काम, ये दोनों का मिला जुला परिणाम है कि उत्तर प्रदेश में शानदार जीत मिली। मैं आपको एक इम्पॉर्टेंट बात बताता हूँ कि उत्तर प्रदेश और बिहार में हम अक्सर कहते थे कि कानून व्यवस्था की बहुत समस्या थी। एक हिम्मत दिखाई योगी जी ने, रिस्क ली, और जो गुंडे थे जिन्होंने गैर यानी इलीगल काम करते थे, उस सब लोगों के खिलाफ एक कड़ी कार्रवाई की और कानून व्यवस्था को प्रस्थापित करके दिखाया। समस्या क्या है कि कानून के प्रति सम्मान भी नहीं और कानून के प्रति डर भी नहीं, ये स्थिति अच्छी नहीं है। और इसलिए लोकतंत्र में कानून व्यवस्था को प्रस्थापित करने में योगी जी ने जो भूमिका निभाई, जिसके कारण माँ बहनों को लगा कि हमारा जीवन सुरक्षित हुआ है, और स्वाभाविक रूप से इसके परिणाम में लोगों के मन में जात पंथ धर्म भाषा से ऊपर उठकर कानून व्यवस्था के कारण जो एक विश्वास आया योगी जी की सरकार से, वो फायदा हुआ। और जो हमने अभी गंगा शुद्ध की, जलमार्ग बनाया, मेरे विभाग में हमने नेशनल हाईवे बनाया, और अभी तो मैं योगी जी के प्रचार में योगी जी और मैं साथ थे तो मैंने कहा कि मैं वचन देता हूँ, कसम खाता हूँ आपको कि 24 समाप्त होने के पहले उत्तर प्रदेश के रोड अमेरिका के बराबर होंगे, और वैसे रोड अब बने हैं
नहीं तो इसीलिए वो योगी जी को बुलडोज़र बाबा भी कह दिया गया। उन्होंने बुलडोज़र दिखाया, बुलडोज़र के जरिए प्रचार हुआ, अब उनके बारे में लिखा गया बाबा बुलडोज़र, बुलडोज़र बाबा। मैं ये पूछना चाहता हूँ कि ये बुलडोज़र प्रतीक किस चीज़ का है, क्या निशानी है? क्या देखिए अताताइयों को ख़त्म करना है या विकास की निशानी है? आप इसको कैसे देखते हैं?
जो एंटी सोशल है, क्रिमिनल है, इलीगल है, उनके खिलाफ बुलडोज़र है। यानी आप किसका शब्द सा अर्थ मत लीजिए, इसके पीछे एक भाव है कि जो गलत काम करेगा, अगर गलत काम करेगा तो बुलडोज़र घुमाया जाएगा। मैं भी एक बार बोला था कॉन्ट्रैक्टर को कि तुम काम ठीक से करो, दीज आर द एसेट ऑफ माई कंट्री। अगर तुमने खराब काम किया तो रोलर के नीचे तुमको डलवा दूंगा। अब मैं इसका मतलब मैं उनको डाल रहा हूँ और रोलर घुमा रहा हूँ, ऐसा नहीं होता
लेकिन नितिन जी, ये एक राजनीतिक के छात्र होने के नाते मैं आपसे पूछ रहा हूँ, अगर बीजेपी को हराना हो तो क्या फॉर्मूला है विरोधी के पास? बीजेपी तो जीतती जा रही है, विरोधियों के पास कोई तरीका नहीं बचा है, कोई रास्ता है कि नहीं है?
ये बीजेपी को जिताने का मार्ग मैं बता सकता हूँ, हराने का मार्ग जो है उसका काम तो जिनको हराना वो करे।
देखो जीतने वाला मंत्र बताइए ना, ताकि विरोधी सुन ले।
नहीं, मैं आपको एक बात बताऊँ, मैं याद करता हूँ मेरे जीवन में, मैं 75 की इमरजेंसी का प्रोडक्ट हूँ। जेपी आंदोलन में मैंने अपनी पढ़ाई में काम कर रहा था, और अचानक फिर मैं राजनीति में जनता पार्टी का लोकतंत्र की लड़ाई हुई 2 साल में। तो मैं बाद में 1980 में एक बार पूना में गया था, तो बीजेपी में मेरी एंट्री हो गई और पहली मीटिंग थी, और उस समय अटल जी भी चुनाव हार गए थे, हमारे केवल 2 आए थे। तो ये जो गदी माडगुळकर करके मराठी के बहुत कवि है बड़े, उनका लड़का वेंकटेश माडगुळकर शायद, वो कांग्रेस के टिकट पर खड़ा था, और पूना के स्टेशन पे उतरने के बाद सुबह 5 बजे महाराष्ट्र एक्सप्रेस में, कभी वो जीवन में वो कभी उदाहरण नहीं, वो प्रसंग नहीं भूलूंगा कि मैं उतर के नीचे जैसे आया तो लक्ष्मणराव मानकर हमारे एक मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट थे, बड़े सीनियर, वो और मैं आए तो अंधेरे में स्टेशन के बाहर ऑटो रिक्शा लेते समय वो काले दीवारों पर बड़े सफ़ेद अक्षरों में लिखा था, वो मराठी में था, पर्याय पर्याय म्हणून ओरडतात कोण, ज्यांचे लोकसभेत निवडून आले 2। यानी जो पर्याय पर्याय करके चिल्ला रहे थे उनके केवल 2 आए, और बाद में लिखा था अटल जी अडवाणी, हम 2 हमारे 2। यानी ये व्यंग हमारे ऊपर हुआ, और तब लोगों ने कहा कि ये पार्टी खत्म हो गई, ये विचारधारा खत्म हो गई। पर उसी स्थिति में हम काम करते रहे, कभी जीत हुई, कभी हार हुई, कभी सम्मान हुआ, कभी अपमान हुआ, कभी उपहास हुआ, पर हम चलते रहे। तो मैं विरोधकों को यही कहूँगा कि राजनीति में कोई हार अंतिम नहीं होती। और एक बात आपको बता दूं
जी,
उसी समय में मैं जब निराश था कि मैं तो ये पार्टी में आया, इसका कोई भविष्य नहीं, तो डॉक्टर श्रीकांत जिचकार करके मेरे मित्र थे, वो मंत्री थे कांग्रेस के, बहुत अच्छे विद्वान थे। तो उन्होंने कहा नितिन आप अच्छे व्यक्ति हो पर आप गलत पार्टी में हो, इसको छोड़ दो। तो मैंने कहा श्रीकांत मैं छोड़ने का सवाल नहीं, क्योंकि मैं कन्विक्शन ओरिएंटेड हूँ। तब मुझे रिचर्ड निक्सन के जीवन को पढ़ने का मौका मिला, एक ने मुझे मित्र ने दिया, उसमें उन्होंने बहुत अच्छी बात कही थी और वो सबके लिए बहुत उपयोगी है। बिजनेस में हो, राजनीति में हो, कोई सर्विस में करियर करते समय हो। उन्होंने कहा था कि द मैन इज नॉट फिनिश व्हेन ही इज डिफीटेड, द मैन इज नॉट फिनिश व्हेन ही इज डिफीटेड, बट ही इज फिनिश व्हेन ही क्विट्स। युद्ध भूमि में हारने के बाद कोई समाप्त नहीं होता, युद्ध भूमि छोड़कर जब भाग जाता है तब समाप्त होता है। लड़ने वालों ने लड़ते रहना चाहिए, हर लड़ने वाले का एक दिन आता ही है।
तो मेरे ख्याल से आपके जो विरोधी हैं वो सुन रहे होंगे ये जीत का फॉर्मूला कि मायूस ना हो, लड़ते रहे, कभी ना कभी तो
हमारे देश की समस्या में हम नाइदर लेफ्टिस्ट नॉर राइटिस्ट, वी आर नोन अपॉर्चुनिस्ट। जिसकी सत्ता है उसमें घुसो, यही काम होता है। ये जो कन्विक्शन वाला होता है ना।
जी नितिन जी, इजाज़त से एक सवाल पूछना चाह रहा हूँ। जब सरकार बनी थी 14 में, जब मोदी जी कैंपेन कर रहे थे और यूपीए 2 की सरकार चल रही थी, तब 3 कंट्रोवर्शियल मुद्दे थे बीजेपी के लिए जो बार बार कहे गए, विवादित मुद्दे जिसको हम लोग कहते हैं, मीडिया लिखता है। 370 वो हो गया सॉल्व, ख़त्म कर दिया आपने कश्मीर में, 370 अबॉर्गेट हो गया। मंदिर बन रहा है ऑलमोस्ट, मेरे ख्याल से 24 तक अयोध्या में दिखने भी लगेगा, तैयार हो जाएगा प्रीमाइसेस पूरा। अब बचा यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड। पुष्कर सिंह धामी जी ने चुनाव प्रचार में कह दिया कि मैं लेके आऊँगा। कल जब शपथ ली उसके बाद पहली प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस उन्होंने इशारा किया कि हाँ इसकी ज़रूरत है देश को। मैं आपसे पूछता हूँ, क्या इस देश को यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड लाने के लिए अगले 2 साल में, ये जो 24 का चुनाव है, बीजेपी इसको इशू बनाने वाली है, इस पर काम करने वाली है?
देखिए, पहली बात तो ऐसी है कि सेक्युलर शब्द का डिक्शनरी मीनिंग होता है पंथ निरपेक्षता। ये सर्वधर्म समभाव कहीं नहीं है, और इसलिए सभी धर्मों के साथ समान न्याय होना चाहिए, सबके लिए समान नियम होने चाहिए। ये तो बिल्कुल आवश्यक भी है, और ये जो हमारा सेक्युलर कैरेक्टर है कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का, उसके आधार पर ये नैसर्गिक भी है। पर इसके बारे में पार्टी की अध्यक्ष और हमारी पार्लियामेंट्री बोर्ड और पॉलिसी के बारे में इसका निर्णय करने का अधिकार उनका है। जब उनको उचित लगे उसके बारे में प्रधानमंत्री के नेतृत्व में या पार्टी अध्यक्ष के नेतृत्व में इसके बारे में निर्णय होगा। अभी तक ऐसा कोई निर्णय नहीं हुआ है।
आपने क्लियर किया, लेकिन क्योंकि मुख्यमंत्री बोलने लगे तो मुझे लगा कि शायद 24 की तैयारी शुरू हो चुकी है।
हम भारतीय जनता पार्टी में बार बार समान नागरिक कायदा की बात करते हैं, तो इसलिए वो लोग उसके अनुरूप कोई लोग बोलते होंगे, पर इसका अंतिम निर्णय का फैसला जो है वो प्रधानमंत्री के नेतृत्व में, पार्टी अध्यक्ष के नेतृत्व में ही होगा।
नितिन जी, आपके आने के पहले आपने अभी खुद ही कहा कि आज मुंबई बहुत दिनों के बाद आए हैं। शिपिंग मंत्रालय आपके पास अब है नहीं, पहले तो शिपिंग का बहाना भी था अब तो केवल सड़क और परिवहन है। मैं ये जानना चाह रहा हूँ, सड़क पर चलने वाली गाड़ियाँ, जो ट्रैफिक जाम आप झेलते हुए यहाँ तक पहुँचे हैं, पेट्रोल डीजल के दाम जिससे ये चल रही हैं, ये कितने और बढ़ने वाले हैं? हर दिन 80 पैसा बढ़ रहा है बीते 3-4 दिनों से।
देखिए, हमारे देश
है, मैं जानता हूँ, तो कहाँ तक जाएगा?
टोटल 80% हमारी एनर्जी इंपोर्ट होती है, और अभी रशिया और यूक्रेन में वॉर होने के कारण इंटरनेशनल मार्केट में प्राइस बढ़ी है, और हमें उसमें कुछ कर नहीं सकते हैं। पर मैं जो बात 2004 से कह रहा हूँ, और बार बार मैं कहता हूँ, तब कुछ लोगों ने मुझे सीरियसली लिया। शंकर को याद होगा, मैं मुंबई में था तब से कह रहा हूँ, 1999-2000 से कह रहा हूँ कि इस देश में आत्मनिर्भर भारत बनना होगा, तो हमें हमारे देश में हमारे फ्यूल को तैयार करना होगा। अब आ गया, अभी पेट्रोल के बजाय इथेनॉल, फ्लेक्स इंजन, टोयोटो, हुंडई और सुजुकी तीनों ने मुझे कहा कि 6 महीने के अंदर उनकी गाड़ी आएगी। फिर हीरो, बजाज और टीवीएस तीनों ने उनकी 2 व्हीलर तैयार कर लिए। 100% पेट्रोल और 100% बायो इथेनॉल। इथेनॉल हमारे किसान बनाते हैं, अब शक्कर के बजाय इथेनॉल बनाएंगे।
राइस, ब्रोकन राइस से, कॉर्न से, फूड ग्रेन से इथेनॉल बनेगा। और हमारे देश में अब इथेनॉल की 40,000 करोड़ की इकोनॉमी है, 2 लाख करोड़ की बनेगी। पेट्रोल को हम ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ेगी। फिर इसके साथ हमने अभी ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन की कार मैंने खुद अपने घर पे लॉन्च किया, अभी भी है, आप देखने के लिए आइए
जी।
पानी से ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन, पानी से, कैसे ब्लैक हाइड्रोजन जो होता है वो कोयले से होता है, ब्राउन हाइड्रोजन जो होता है वो पेट्रोलियम से होता है। पर हमारा जो ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन है ये एक तो जो ऑर्गेनिक वेस्ट है बायोडाइजेस्टर में डालकर मीथेन तैयार करके CO2 को अलग करके फिर उससे हम ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन तैयार कर सकते हैं। और जो गंदा पानी है, अब मैं वो योजना बनाने के लिए यूडी मिनिस्टर को मैंने रिक्वेस्ट किया, हम बैठ रहे हैं कि हमने मैं नागपुर का हूँ, कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी मेरी नागपुर है, हमने हमारा टॉयलेट का पानी, सीवेज वाटर 7 साल पहले बेच दिया। आपको आश्चर्य लगेगा कि टॉयलेट का पानी बेचकर 325 करोड़ रुपए साल में कमाने वाली हमारी महानगर पालिका है। अब उस पानी में हम लोग सोलर, रूफटॉप सोलर और विंड लगाएंगे, क्योंकि 70% कॉस्ट ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन में पावर की है। और इलेक्ट्रोलाइज़र हमारे इंजीनियर बनाने लगे। अभी मैं बेंगलोर में एक उद्घाटन के लिए जाने वाला था। हमारे अमेरिका से में जो इंजीनियर उन्होंने बनाया, देश में बड़े प्रमाण पर स्टार्टअप बना रहे हैं इलेक्ट्रोलाइजर्स, और वो 1 करोड़ 20 लाख शायद कम भी हो जाएगा। और उसके कारण ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन तैयार होगा और उसको कॉम्प्रेस करने के लिए जो जनरेटर चाहिए वो इथेनॉल का होगा। और ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन पर इतना अच्छा फ्यूल है कि हमारी टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री, हमारी सीमेंट इंडस्ट्री, हमारी केमिकल इंडस्ट्री, हमारी ट्रक, बसेस, गाड़ियाँ चलेगी। और आखिर में आपको बात बताता हूँ, ये भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट, मुझे बहुत बार आप लोग पूछते थे कि चार्जिंग स्टेशन कहाँ है, इलेक्ट्रिक कैसे होगा, ये होगा। तो जैसे अब तो ये हमारे देश में सवाल पूछना आपका काम ही है, फिर अंडा पहले कि आमलेट पहले होता ही है। अब आपको मैं बताता हूँ, इलेक्ट्रिक बस 1200% राइज, स्कूटर, अभी इलेक्ट्रिक कार का वेटिंग लिस्ट हो गया, मेरे पास लोग आते हैं। और मैं आपको आज बता रहा हूँ, आज से 2 साल के अंदर, शायद 1 साल ही, पर मैं 2 साल बोल रहा हूँ, 2 साल के अंदर पेट्रोल की गाड़ी, पेट्रोल की स्कूटर और पेट्रोल की ऑटो रिक्शा, 4 व्हीलर, 2 व्हीलर एंड 3 व्हीलर, इनकी इलेक्ट्रिक की कीमत पेट्रोल के गाड़ी के बराबर होगी। और पेट्रोल का जो खर्चा कर रहे हैं आप, उसका 1/10 खर्चा केवल इलेक्ट्रिक को लगेगा। केवल लिथियम आयन बैटरी नहीं, अब हमारी सोडियम आयन बैटरी, एल्यूमिनियम आयन बैटरी, जिंक आयन बैटरी, सब हमारे यहाँ डेवलप किया गया है। वो दिन अब दूर नहीं है। और अब लिथियम में भी प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। 85%, मैं इसका मंत्री हूँ ना, इसलिए मैं बहुत अधिकार से बता रहा हूँ, 85% लिथियम आयन बैटरी के पार्ट इंडिया में बनते हैं और कोई लिथियम का शॉर्टेज वगैरह नहीं है। इतनी बातें मीडिया में छपी जाती है। अभी लिथियम की बैटरी की कीमत कम होते जा रही है, जैसे नंबर बढ़ेगा। एक समय मैंने मोबाइल फ़ोन लिया था 95-96 में, तो 1,35,000 में एरिक्सन का मोबाइल फ़ोन लिया था। और मैं कहता हूँ मैंने मोबाइल फ़ोन लिया, देखो ये कितना बड़ा है, अब वो 4,000 रुपये में मिलता है। तो क्या हुआ है कि जब नंबर बढ़ेगा तो आपको अगर ये प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व होगा। 2 साल के अंदर इलेक्ट्रिक बसेस, अभी मुंबई में 900 बसेस आ रही, पूना में 500 बसेस आई, नागपुर में 200 बसेस आई। अब मुझे लगता है वो दिन दूर नहीं है कि हम पेट्रोल डीजल के ऊपर जो हमारा 8 लाख करोड़ का इंपोर्ट है, जो आने वाले 5 साल में 25 लाख करोड़ का होगा, हम इथेनॉल, मिथेनॉल, बायोडीजल, बायो CNG, इलेक्ट्रिक एंड ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन, इसको इतनी अच्छी तरीके से, मैं ट्रांसपोर्ट मंत्री हूँ, विकसित कर रहा हूँ। और अभी आपको मैं अच्छी बात बताऊँगा कि बस भी हवा में उड़ने वाली हम लाने वाला हूँ। 250 लोग बैठ के ऊपर से ऊपर जाएंगे समुद्र में, ये रास्ते का ट्रैफिक कम हो जाएगा। अभी आपको बताता हूँ, ये मुंबई में मैं शिपिंग मंत्री था, तो नया एयरपोर्ट बन रहा है, तो मैंने ऑलरेडी वो प्रोजेक्ट सैंक्शन करके रखा हुआ है कि आप 17 मिनट के अंदर कहीं से भी मुंबई से पानी में नए एयरपोर्ट पे चले जाओगे। जैसे वो इटली में है ना, अपना एक एयरपोर्ट है जहाँ होटल में उतर के पानी से आप जाते हो, वैसे मुंबई में आप पानी से एयरपोर्ट जाओगे तो धीरे धीरे बदलाव होगा। पेट्रोल डीजल की खपत कम होगी, इंपोर्ट सब्स्टिट्यूट, कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव, पोल्यूशन फ्री और इंडिजिनस, यही नीति और उसके परिणाम दिखना अब शुरू हो गए।
आपके जो डायनामिक आइडियाज़ है ना, ये सबको बड़े सम्मोहित और मोहित करते हैं। तभी नितिन गडकरी जो है ना, वो ऐसा मंत्री है जो काम करना करवाना दोनों जानता है। फॉर्मूले भी है उसके पास, तो कैसे करवाए भी जाते हैं। और शायद इसीलिए आपको इतना अप्रिसिएशन भी मिलता है आपके काम की वजह से। मैं इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ कि मैं देख रहा था अभी आप इस सेशन के पहले 4 बड़े खिलाड़ी यहाँ बैठे हुए थे इंटरनेशनल लेवल के। जैसे ही सत्र खत्म हुआ उनका सेशन, वो सब आके आपसे मिले और सब ने आपकी तारीफ की, क्योंकि मैं साथ में खड़ा था, मैं वो सुन रहा था। अब आगे बढ़ता हूँ नितिन जी, क्योंकि समय कम है, आपको आगे भी जाना है। हम मुंबई में बैठे हुए हैं। कुछ देर पहले आदित्य ठाकरे जी इस मंच पे थे और मेरा सवाल पूछना मेरा काम है। उन्होंने ये कहा कि दिल्ली की सरकार महाराष्ट्र की सरकार को गिराना चाहती है, वेंडेटा पॉलिटिक्स चल रही है। पहले एजेंसियों का इस्तेमाल करते हैं, बदनाम करते हैं, और ये सब तब होता है जब चुनाव सर पर आ रहे हों। आपकी प्रतिक्रिया?
नहीं, हम कोई सरकार गिराना नहीं चाहते और हम कोई विंडेक्टिव भी नहीं है। कानून अपना काम करता है, अगर वो गलत नहीं है तो वो जीत जाएंगे, अगर कुछ गलतियाँ की होगी तो उनको परिणाम भुगतने पड़ेंगे। पर हमारे तरफ से कोई विंडेक्टिव अप्रोच से किसी के ऊपर सरकार कोई काम नहीं करे।
पर जिनके यहाँ छापे पड़े, उनके मामा के यहाँ, वो तो पहले से परिवार के सदस्य हैं, बीजेपी इनके साथ रह चुकी है, तब तो कभी छापे नहीं पड़े।
देखिए, पहली बात तो ऐसी है कि मैं इन कोई डिटेल्स केसेस को जानता नहीं हूँ। जब तक ये सब घटनाओं के डिटेल्स मालूम नहीं होते हैं तब तक उसके ऊपर कोई टिप्पणी करना उचित नहीं है। पर इतना ज़रूर बताऊंगा कि किसी के विंडेक्टिव इससे इस प्रकार की कोई कार्रवाई हमारी सरकार कभी नहीं करेगी।
एक और मुद्दा है कश्मीर फाइल्स पिक्चर का। जो नॉन बीजेपी रूल्ड स्टेट्स हैं उन्होंने टैक्स फ्री नहीं किया है, उनको सोशल मीडिया पे बहुत पूछा जा रहा है। महाराष्ट्र भी उनमें से एक है, दिल्ली से उनमें से एक है। क्या आपको लगता है कश्मीर फाइल्स को टैक्स फ्री होना चाहिए?
देखिए, मैं आपको एक बात बताता हूँ, हमारा फेडरल कैरेक्टर है कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का। हर राज्य सरकार को अपना अधिकार है। जो राज्य सरकार टैक्स फ्री करना चाहता है वो करे, जो नहीं करना चाहता वो नहीं करे, उसका अधिकार है, उसका हम सम्मान करें। और इसलिए जब राज्यों को उस जनता ने चुन कर दिया है तो उसके बारे में फैसला क्या करना उनका अधिकार है।
केजरीवाल जी तो यहाँ तक बोलते हैं कि यूट्यूब पे डाल दो, फ्री में देख लो। कल उन्होंने भाषण दिया दिल्ली विधानसभा में और कहा कि हमसे कह रहे हैं कि टैक्स फ्री करो, टैक्स फ्री करो। विवेक अग्निहोत्री को बोलो कि यूट्यूब पर डाल दें, फ्री हो जाएगी, सब फ्री में देख लेंगे। ये दबाव की पॉलिटिक्स क्यों कर रहे हैं? नेशन बिल्डिंग का काम बीजेपी क्यों नहीं कर रही है? पिक्चर को प्रमोट क्यों कर रही है?
देखो, मैं आपको एक बात बताता हूँ, राजनीति में नेता लोग बहुत कुछ बोलते रहते हैं और कुछ लोगों को उनकी पार्टी भी सीरियसली नहीं लेती, तो आप क्यों सीरियसली लेते हो?
सर, जिस पार्टी को सीरियसली नहीं लेते हैं उसने पंजाब में 100 सीटें पाली हैं, लगभग 92 सीट्स।
देखिए, ये अनप्रोडक्टिव एक्सपेंडिचर, अनप्रोडक्टिव डिस्कशन, ये चलते रहता है। आप जैसे और मेरे जैसे लोगों ने अपने काम का सुनना चाहिए और काम का ही करना चाहिए।
मैं ये इसलिए बोल रहा था आपसे कि ये पहली ऐसी पार्टी, आम आदमी पार्टी, जो है तो राज्य की पार्टी, पर 2 राज्यों में उसकी सरकारें हो गई। दिल्ली भी हो गया, पंजाब भी हो गया, और अब उनकी महत्वाकांक्षा और राज्यों तक बढ़ने की है। वो गुजरात में चुनाव आ रहे हैं, वहाँ लड़ना चाहते हैं, हिमाचल में चुनाव आ रहे हैं, वहाँ लड़ना चाह रहे हैं, 2024 को लेकर भी तैयारियां शुरू कर दी हैं। क्या केजरीवाल राष्ट्रीय राजनीति में एक ऑल्टरनेट है?
देखिए, पहली बात तो मैं गोवा में था और गोवा के राजनीति को नज़दीक से देखता हूँ। मैं आपको बताऊँ, केजरीवाल भी पूरे देश भर लड़े और तृणमूल कांग्रेस भी देश भर लड़े और 4 रीजनल पार्टियां भी लड़े और उनके बीजेपी विरोधी मतदानों का डिवीजन कर दे और हमें जीतने का मार्ग आसान कर दे।
तो ये एक और फॉर्मूला दे रहे हैं नितिन जी विरोधियों को कि सब एक हो जाओ, तो बीजेपी को मुश्किल होती है।
नहीं, देखो, बीजेपी में अभी चुनाव क्या होता है, एक वोटर बीजेपी को जिताने के लिए वोट देता है और एक वोटर बीजेपी को हराने के लिए वोट देता है। तो ये जब हमको हराने वाले वोटर डिवीजन कर देते हैं तो हमारा फायदा होता है। तो ये केजरीवाल जी डायरेक्ट इनडायरेक्ट अगर पूरे देश में चुनाव लड़ेंगे तो हम उनका स्वागत करेंगे, उनको शुभकामनाएं देंगे और जाए और कांग्रेस के वोट डिवाइड करेंगे।
क्योंकि आप कंस्ट्रक्टिव राजनीति की बात करते हैं नितिन जी। एक आज घोषणा की पंजाब के नए मुख्यमंत्री भगवंत मान साहब ने, एक एमएलए को एक पेंशन मिलेगी। वहाँ पर जितनी बार आप एमएलए बन के जाते हो उतनी आपको पेंशन मिलती है। उन्होंने कहा कि पंजाब के सरकारी खजाने पर अतिरिक्त बोझ पड़ रहा था, पंजाब में बहुत स्थिति बुरी थी, तो उन्होंने आज को कह दिया एक बार एमएलए, एक तनख्वाह फिक्स, एक पेंशन फिक्स। ये फॉर्मूला अच्छा है, नहीं है? आप
देखिए, ऐसा नहीं होता। वो क्या होता है, जो महाराष्ट्र में पद्धत है और पार्लियामेंट में पद्धत है कि 5 साल के रेजिम के लिए इतना होता है, फिर 10 साल होने के बाद इतना मिलता है। तो ये क्या होता है कि देखो सभी धनवान नहीं होते हैं। आज मुझे ऐसे अनेक एमएलए एमपीज मालूम है कि उनके हार्ट का ऑपरेशन करने के लिए उनके पास पैसे नहीं है, तो परिस्थितियाँ खराब है। और इसलिए स्वाभाविक रूप से हर प्रोफेशन में पेंशन मिलती है, सरकारी नौकर को मिलती है। तो ये बात मांग उठी कि भाई लोकप्रतियों के भी जीवन में उनको हेल्थ सर्विसेज के लिए हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस जैसा कोई कवर होना चाहिए और उनको पेंशन मिलनी चाहिए। अब उसका फार्मूला क्या हो ये हर राज्य तय कर सकता है, पर एक बात जरूर है। देखो मैं आपको एक बात बताता हूँ, मुझे पास बहुत लोग आते कि मैं अपना जीवन पार्टी को देना चाहता हूँ। तो मैं बोलता हूँ आप क्या करते हो? बोले मैं दुकान था चला नहीं। मैंने बोला बिल्कुल ज़रूरत नहीं तुम्हारी, पहले अपना घर ठीक देखो, अपने परिवार का ठीक देखो और फिर राजनीति में काम करो। और नो फिलोसॉफी कैन बी टॉट टू एम्प्टी स्टमक। और मैं ये अनुभव कर चुका हूँ क्योंकि मैं बहुत संघर्ष से आया हूँ। आज मैं कहता हूँ कि पहले ईमानदारी के मार्ग से अपना उद्योग व्यवसाय काम करिए, 2 पैसे कमाइए, फिर राजनीति करिए। राजनीति ये पैसा कमाने का धंधा नहीं हो सकता और नेताओं की ज़रूरत होती है। अब मुझे प्रॉब्लम नहीं, क्योंकि मैं अपनी गाड़ी या बदलता हूँ तो भी अपनी मेरी कंपनी मुझे देती है, तो मैं अपना खर्चा कर सकता हूँ, मैं किसी पर डिपेंड नहीं हूँ। तो कहीं ना कहीं राजनीतिक कार्यकर्ता जो ईमानदारी से कन्विक्शन के लिए काम कर रहा है, उसने अपनी आर्थिक स्थिति को ठीक करना चाहिए और फिर राजनीति में कन्विक्शन के साथ, ईमानदारी के साथ राजनीति का पेशा न मानते हुए लोगों की सेवा करनी चाहिए। तो मुझे लगता है ये ज़्यादा अच्छा होगा।
एक आखिरी सवाल, समय समाप्त हो गया, आप भी देख रहे हैं, आपको भी जाना है, मुझे पता है, लेकिन आपके हिसाब से महाराष्ट्र की सरकार जो बनी है ये कैसा काम कर रही है? अच्छा काम कर रही है कि नहीं काम कर रही है? इसको 5 साल का टेन्योर पूरा करना चाहिए कि नहीं पूरा करना चाहिए?
देखो किसी भी सरकार के बारे में उसका अच्छा काम है नहीं है, उसका परफॉर्मेंस ऑडिट बहुत बार लोग करते हैं और जनरली मैं एबीपी बहुत सुनता हूँ। तो आप आपके सर्वे दिखाते हैं कि ये क्यों पसंद किया, ये क्यों बढ़ा, ये क्यों काम हुआ। ये किसी भी सरकार का बारे में परफॉर्मेंस ऑडिट करने का पूरा अधिकार आपका है, आप जरूर करिए, मुझे इस झंझट में मत फंसाइए।
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, आपसे हाजिर जवाबी में कोई जीत नहीं सकता। थैंक यू सो मच नितिन जी, आपने वक्त निकाला आए, थैंक यू सो मच।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Gentlemen, Shri Nitin Gadkari. I'd now like to invite on stage Avinash Pandey, ABP Network CEO, to present a small token of our gratitude to the Honorable Minister. Thank you, sir, for giving us your time today. Dhanyavad, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what we call a photo finish to a stellar day. Namaskar, sir. And that wraps up day 1 of Ideas of India. It's been an engaging day, a wonderful day of sessions. As we wrap up, ladies and gentlemen, a quick token of thanks to all our partners once again, Wildstone, Government of Chhattisgarh, Nerolac Paints, Himalaya Wellness Company, Acer Laptops, Maharashtra Tourism, Jansatta, Daily Hunt, and Apar Advertisers. Good night. You've been a wonderful audience. My name is Radhika Bajaj. We'll see you tomorrow, day 2, Ideas of India. Thank you.
Arise, awake, अपने अंदर तू देख. The best of all is coming through. अपने rights, अपनी fight, left or right. की आवाज को तुम भी सुनो. Let's talk fearless and free. फिर गूंजे अपनी unity. सर उठा के, सोच घुमा के. We'll be the change we wanna see. Ideas of India. Yeah, ideas of India. Ideas of India. Yeah, ideas of India.
Ideas of India presented by Wildstone New Classic Range. लोग तो नोटिस करेंगे. स्टेट पार्टनर गवर्नमेंट ऑफ छत्तीसगढ़. एसोसिएट पार्टनर नेरोलैंड. ये पेंट नहीं पेंट प्लस है. वेलनेस पार्टनर हिमालय वेलनेस कंपनी. खुश रहो खुशहाल रहो. टेक्नोलॉजी पार्टनर एसर लैपटॉप्स. जिंदगी के हर रंग के लिए. सपोर्टेड बाय महाराष्ट्र अनलिमिटेड. डिजिटल पार्टनर डेली हंट. प्रिंट पार्टनर जनसत्ता.